Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Even though Zhou Liqing deleted it quickly, the post was still saved by many people. People were begging Zhou Liqing's Weibo account. They kept asking for the goddess to return point 2. Zhou Liqing had not expected that her post would become like this. Of course, in addition to Zhou Liqing's Weibo being besieged by many unknown netizens, the person who originally reposted it was not much better point 2. That big V from the school point 2. Really, he was the one that caused this matter. After all, he hadn't removed the post from his Weibo. The campus belle of my university is going to enter the entertainment industry. Tremble, the women of the entertainment industry. The beauty killer is here, too. Therefore, many people asked this blogger what he had posted point 2. He was actually the king of stalking. Even though he usually posted some jokes on Weibo, when he posted about beauties, he was quite impolite, especially when it came to how he knew those beauties point 2. It was no surprise then that when someone asked him about the mysterious campus belle, he excitedly revealed the information that he knew. Xiwan was a top student in the Department of Media and Broadcasting. She was in her 4th year, and she was one of the 2 beauties at university too. However, this information could not satisfy the curious people at all. More people asked for photos. Someone even searched for Xiwan's photos on the school intranet, but after searching for a long time, they didn't find much, other than the 1-inch photo of her from the school belle pageant. The rest of the photos were basically her back, her side profile, and most of them were still blurry or seriously distorted. They were not as good as the real person, so he said that there were no photos. After all, very few people would have the courage to run up to her and take a face-to-face photo point 2. Everyone lamented in the comments. The campus belle from your university is really low-key. 2. The blogger sent a message. One of the twin beauties? Does that mean there's another girl who's also very good-looking? 2. The blogger couldn't give everyone more photos of Xiwan, so he continued to write about the possibility of another one. Yes, there's another beauty killer, Li Yan. She's also studying in the media branch, but she's in the acting department. She's so beautiful. She's completely different from Jiang Xiwan. She's kind of flamboyant and gorgeous. Yes, she reminds me of the diva, Jiang Xiwan. 2. Oh my god, the goddess in white is also called Jiang Xiwan, exclaimed one comment under the post point 2. It's different. There's nothing anyone can do about the name their parents gave them. The blogger kindly explained point 2. Another netizen jumped in. Fortunately, she's also so beautiful. It would be awkward to be an ugly person who has the same name as a super beauty. 2. Many people said that without a picture he couldn't make such claims, so he posted some photos of Li Yan from his phone. He said that these photos were saved after she went over the wall to Facebook point 2. He only put a couple of photos in his comment section. He did not want to give everything to this group of stupid mortals point 2. Underneath the photos, he also wrote very proudly, "This is Li Yan, the real fair, rich, and beautiful. Tremble, you bunch of aliens." 2. Lots of people left a shocked reaction on his post point 2. However, after looking at the photos, lots of people left positive comments. *MN. The quality of the campus belle at your university is so high, wrote one netizen. Another read, "All of them are so beautiful. I can't take my eyes off either of them." 2. That's it. Too beautiful. But I love the white-clothed beauty more. In this day and age, there are too few people with such a classic celestial look. 2. The commotion on Weibo was so intense that Xiwan and the others no longer bothered about it. After all, the commotion would only last for a few days. The audience would soon be distracted by another wave of hot events. Even if there was still a lingering buzz, it would not last for long point 2. That why time was so magical. No matter how intense an event was, time would always calm it down. It was like a stone being thrown into a lake. Ripples appeared with a loud splash, and although they were brilliant, the lake was soon calm once more, like nothing had ever happened point 2. Just like her previous life, she had lived a rich and fast life. Even before she died, that incident at the award ceremony was considered career suicide. At the time, it shook the entire entertainment industry. However, after a few months, there was basically no news about her. There was endless news coming cycling through the entertainment industry. Who was popular today? Who would be defeated tomorrow? Who would be debuting the day after tomorrow, too? The world was still changing, so no one knew who it would be point two. At 10:40, Manager Chun came out to speak to everyone. Now, please follow Ms. Huang to the reception hall on the second floor. Please wait patiently after entering the venue in an orderly manner. The facial mask will start at 11 a.m. sharp. We will determine the order according to the information that you have filled in. 2. Everyone nodded to show that they understood. Manager Chen looked at his papers and said, Jiang Shuan, Huang Can, Jin Xian. The three of you follow me too. People were about to ask why when they saw three exceptionally good-looking people walking in front of everyone. No matter how dissatisfied they were, when they saw their faces, they had nothing to say point two. After all, in the entertainment industry, who did not rely on their looks to make a living. With faces like theirs, only a blind management company would turn them away point two. If there were still people who had doubts, were they not afraid that they would not have the talent? 2. Talent was nothing. Didn't they see that the male and female celebrities on the big screen and small screens nowadays only had pretty faces, not acting skills? Moreover, even if they didn't have any ability, the company would train them. If they were to train them for a period of time, they would almost certainly take them on board, unless they were a good-for-nothing person point two. Zhou Liqing patted Shiwan on the shoulder. That's great. Wait for me. I will work hard too. After that, she pulled Qian Mingfei along with them to the waiting room on the second floor point two. It had to be said that this Manager Chen's eyes were very sharp. Of the three that he had chosen, there was no need to mention Shiwan's appearance. The remaining two had their own unique features point two. Huang could make up on her face, a pointed chin, big eyes, and small mouth. Her skin was as white as snow, and her long black hair reached her, but she was quite tall. She wore a yellow chiffon skirt and white canvas shoes, which made her look very campus-like and fresh. She was one of the more popular artists at the time point two. Jin Xian had a very Han flavor, Shiwan thought to herself. Although Shiwan was not very familiar with Korea, she knew that it dominated the current mainland market, especially with male stars. Korean features, along with height and good styling, would make him very popular with the fans, who will soon be shouting, handsome, 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 too. Of course, Jin Xian didn't have especially Korean features, but his height was real. He was even slightly taller than the snake of man that she had known in her previous life. Shiwan tried to guess how tall he was, and she guessed about 1.85 meters tall. He had a great figure, too, and seemed to be a natural model point, too. He had thick eyebrows and big eyes. His facial features ranked him, in Shiwan's eyes, as a 6 out of 10, but by the time the makeup artist was done with him, he would be at least a 7 or an 8. For male entertainers with such looks, it would be difficult for them not to become famous point two. There was a reason why Sky Shadow Media had been able to catch up to Hua Feng in just a few short years. Li Zhan, as a decision-maker, should not be underestimated point two. The three of them were led to an office. Although there were 3 desks in the office, there was only one person in the office. She was a very capable woman point two. When she saw that Manager Chun had brought 3 people, she smiled and said, You've already decided on a seedling so quickly. 2. Manager Chen said, I'm afraid that someone else will snatch them away. You take a look first. Whether you want to go for contracts or not is up to you. 2. And then turned to look at Shiwan and the others. She stared at Shiwan for a long time. With this face, I was born to do this. Chenyi, you've done an amazing job this time. The 3 that you brought up, all of them. As she said that, she gave a thumbs up point two. Chenyi smiled. I'll go down and take a look at the situation on the second floor, too. The strong woman nodded. Then, she led the 3 of them to the small conference room next door and began the interview. Hello, everyone. I'm one of the managers in charge of the talent at Sky Shadow Media. My name is Jian Fong. You can call me Sister Jian or my English name, Jean. Now, please introduce yourselves in detail. Age, hobbies, specialties, and your current status. 2. The 3 of them looked at each other. Huang cleared his throat. I'll go first, he said. I'm Huang Can. I'm 21 this year, and I'm from the Department of Acting at S University Media. I'm currently in my senior year. My specialties are performance, singing, folk dance, and piano up to grade 10. I also dabble in gouging. I have a wide range of hobbies, such as horseback riding, playing golf, and bowling. Of course, my favorite is still acting. I've also guest acted in quite a few roles in various production teams. I've acted as the fourth female lead in Double Color Dreamed, too. Jianfang nodded at Huang Can, obviously very satisfied. Then, she asked, "Can I have a sobbing scene, too?" Huang Can nodded. "No problem," she replied. 30 seconds later, tears were flowing from her eyes, and she looked heartbroken. "Chun Lang, how can you be so heartless and abandon me?" she sobbed. Point two. Shiwan watched from the side, also satisfied. Although her acting was a little overdone, she was still a newcomer, so she was quite malleable. Point two. Not bad, too. Then, Jianfang looked at Shiwan. She looked at Shiwan with a glowing, hungry expression on her face. It was as if Shiwan had been in the industry for a long time and was a big cash cow. Point two. Shiwan stared back. Point two. "What about you, too?" Shiwan nodded. "My name is Jiang Shiwan, too." Sure enough, the moment her name was mentioned, the other three's jaws dropped. Point two. Another female Wan. Different from the late movie queen, too. Jianfang nodded. "Continue, too. I'm a senior majoring in broadcasting at University A. My specialty is acting, and my hobby is acting. The rest are in my resume." After all, there was a long string of notes that she could not read. Point two. Jianfang nodded. Yes, I understand. I'll take a look later and arrange your schedule for you." The others looked at each other. She moved on to the next, the only boy. Point two. Jean Xian, 23. I graduated from university last year, and I'm currently the resident singer at a bar. After saying that, without waiting for Jianfang to ask, he began to sing. His voice was magnetic. Point two. Jianfang nodded. "The three of you are fantastic. I'll be very happy to sign all of you. After signing the contract, you will not begin filming immediately. Instead, you will have to go through the company's physical and vocal training courses, amongst other things, to prepare you. Only those who complete all of them will have the opportunity to participate in movies, TV dramas, and make recordings. Do you understand, too?" The three of them nodded. Except for Shiwan, the other two looked ecstatic. Huang Can took out her phone on the spot to report the good news to her family and friends. Point two. Jianfang smiled at the three of them. "The three of you are really not bad. The company will spend time and effort to train you, but don't be arrogant. Work hard and don't let down the company. It's not impossible for you to become famous in the future. Two. Got it, Sister Jian." The three of them nodded. Point two. After they left, Shiwan headed back to the waiting room on the second floor. After all, her two best friends were still waiting for their interview. Point two. Jianfang watched Shiwan leave. TSK. She's the real deal. Even if she doesn't have acting skills, the audience will still be able to see her face. When Shiwan arrived at the waiting room on the second floor, a few people came out one after another. They didn't look very good. There was a chubby girl with tears all over her face. The two people who were with her patted her shoulder to comfort her. Point two. When Shiwan went in, she didn't see her two friends. They must have gone in for their interviews. Point two. Because the interviews were conducted in groups of 10 people, each round lasted about 20 to 30 minutes. Shiwan was bored, so she left the waiting room and planned to take a stroll around the second floor. Point two. "Hey," someone patted Shiwan's shoulder. "We meet again, too." Shiwan turned her head and saw that it was the crazy man from this morning. He looked at her arrogantly. Point two. Shiwan ignored him. Point two. "You should have been selected, too." Shiwan continued to ignore him. Point two. "Hey, I'm speaking nicely. Why won't you say anything, too?" Shiwan turned her head away from him. Point two. "Don't bother with such people, or else he will get more excited," Shiwan thought to herself. Point two. F***CK. The man changed from sulking to trying to be nice. "It was my fault this morning. Can I apologize to you?" Beauty, I'm sorry. I was wrong this morning, too." Shiwan turned her head to look at the young man. He seemed full of apologies, but still had a mischievous smile on his face. She was slightly annoyed and said coldly, "I don't like men, too." "Oh, F***CK. You're serious, too. At that moment, a clear voice came from behind Siobhan. Arnold, what are you doing here? 2. Oh, it's Secretary Wu. Where's my cousin? The man in front of her smiled again, revealing 2 harmless dimples. 2. The boss is working, Secretary Wu replied. Then, he looked at him and Siobhan, and his eyes flashed with surprise. Thinking of what day it was today, he understood who Siobhan was. How quickly Siobhan had hooked up with the boss's cousin. Although he didn't show any interest on the surface, there was disdain in his heart. Secretary Wu said to the man, Arnold, it's good that you know your limits. I still have something to do, so I'll be leaving now, too. You've been around my brother for too long. Huh? You're getting less and less cute, he said. He curled his lips. As expected, staying with old virgins turns people into perverts, too. Secretary Wu ignored him and walked straight ahead, disappearing around the corner with the blink of an eye. 2. Siobhan put this new information together and remained silent. So the psychopath in front of her was Li Zhan's cousin, and he was called Arnold. But why was he so unreliable? He must have misunderstood Secretary Wu's last words and remarks. 2. Damn it. Even if she wanted to find a backer, it wouldn't be this loser in front of her. Moreover, she had already suffered a loss from a man. She could be fooled once, and she would not be fooled again. 2. Thinking of this, Siobhan's cold expression became even more distant. 2. The man in front of her cleared his throat. My name is Zheng Nuo. What about you, too? I've already told you that I don't like men. Siobhan's eyes flashed with disdain. However, as a second-generation son in a rich family, she thought that everyone would pounce on him for his identity. Your ears aren't working well. Go out and turn right. Take a taxi. The second military hospital is 15 minutes away. The sooner you get treated, the better. Siobhan pushed him away and walked towards the waiting room on the second floor. 2. Zheng Nuo said something, but she didn't wait around long enough to hear it. 2. Another failure. Forget it. It was his cousin's company anyway. He would find out about her in the future. 2. Zheng Nuo thought about it and stopped chasing Siobhan. Instead, he walked towards Secretary Wu. Yes, that's right. He planned to turn his cousin to comfort his injured heart. 2. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk 2. Li Zhan was dressed in a black suit. He was sat in his office looking at the information sheet that Secretary Wu had just brought back. 2. The room was quiet except for the sound of the air conditioner blowing cold air. 2. Secretary Wu said, I just saw Arnold, too. Li Zhan also did not raise his head. He stared at the work in his hand and let out a non-committal, oh, too. His cousin came to his company from time to time, looking for an actress or a female singer. He was the boss of the company, so he could neither actively encourage that nor forbid it, as there was no explicit rule. There were no secrets about it, but those female artists were often happy to do it themselves. To the public, they could be in a relationship or simply be good friends. 2. As the boss of the company, it was really difficult to manage matters outside of work. He only hoped that it would not cause a scandal. 2. Fortunately, Zheng Nuo was sensible and didn't try to do anything out of line. However, because he had dated some famous artists in the industry, his romantic affairs were always on the entertainment headlines. 2. All of the unnecessary drama his cousin had caused was going to give his uncle Zheng Lin a heart attack. In the end, he had no choice but to say, don't play any tricks or else you'll be kicked out of the family, too. However, Zheng Nuo was also capable of being a gentleman. When he was dating someone, it was one-on-one. He was able to make the woman happy, and after they broke up, he was also generous enough to give them a house and a car if the girl in question mentioned it. He was good-looking and, at 26 years old, still had a baby face. He looked like a student. Therefore, many female celebrities had marked Zheng Nuo's name in the list of one-night stands, and every female celebrity that he had dated was still full of praise for him after they'd broken up. 2. Thinking of his cousin gave Li Zhan a headache at first, but by now he was used to it. 2. Secretary Wu saw that his boss hadn't made any big movements, so he said, the company should have found a good seedling this time. Zheng Nuo seems to have taken a fancy to her, too. Li Zhan replied with a short, yep, and continued to bury his head in work. 2. Secretary Wu felt a sigh in his heart. These two cousins' temperaments were really poles apart. His boss was expressionless, but Zheng Nuo was happy. His boss's personality was cold and aloof, and it was difficult to get close to him. Zheng Nuo was a tsundere young master, and he was very loyal. He would do anything for his friends. As for women, his boss, ahem. He didn't know if Li Zhan had dated anyone when he was a student, but he had been working with him for almost 5 years, and he had never seen him with any woman. As for Zheng Nuo, if it wasn't for his family, people would only talk about his romantic affairs, too. Thinking of this, Secretary Wu looked at the boss. TSK, TSK. This face was really God's favorite. Every inch of it was carefully carved. People like him, who had been casually thrown together by God, could only look at beautiful people and sigh. Unfair, too. He had always had a sneaking suspicion about Li Zhan's sexual orientation, but he was careful in how he tested this theory with his boss. The boss had sneered and even said, "Wu Yang, if you like men, then so be it. I won't fire you just because you're gay." Too. At that time, he was like, F***CK, this is too much, too. The boss was definitely a straight man, point two. The two of them had stopped talking about Zheng Nuo's matter, but they did not expect him to come knocking on the door. He pushed the door open and said, "Cousin, I really think I've fallen this time, too." Li Zhan still did not raise his head. "Oh, too. It's true." Seeing that his cousin didn't seem to believe him, Zheng Nuo repeated himself and very seriously said, "It's true, too." "Oh, too." Zheng Nuo and Wu Yang glanced at each other, point two. "Damn, I know I haven't been very reliable in the past, but it's fate this time. I swear, too." Li Zhan continued in his quest to not raise his head. He turned the page and started reading the other side, point two. Zheng Nuo's heart was filled with a million curses. "Cousin, that beauty is really extraordinary. I've really fallen for her. She's so beautiful, and her personality is good for my appetite, too." Wu Yang's eyebrows drew together, filling his forehead with lines. He must have made a mistake. Zheng Nuo still did not know the name of that beauty, point two. Naturally, Wu Yang was not the only one who had figured that out. Li Zhan said, "She may well be the most beautiful girl in the world, but you still don't know her name. You've really come here to tell me that you fell for her? I've read a lot. You can't fool me." Two. Wu Yang held back his laughter, turning his entire face red, point two. He wanted to say, "Look, my boss doesn't like to talk. He will swallow you to death if he speaks." But he kept the thought to himself, point two. Zheng Nuo was furious. "Cousin, I'm serious, too." Li Zhan repeated his favorite word. Oh. It was cold, as if the long speech Li Zhan had just given was an illusion, point two. Zheng Nuo followed his anger. "Sigh. Who exactly is in charge of the recruitment this time? I want all the information on this beauty, too." Only then did Li Zhan raise his head and look at his cousin, who was only 1 year younger than him. "You're not young either. You can't just spend your days loitering around the flowers. Think about it. Uncle is already old, and he still runs such a big company like the Zheng Corporation. As a child, too." Stop, stop, stop. Zheng Nuo hurriedly interrupted. "The company is on track now. Besides, Father has also found a professional manager, so there's nothing for me to do. The Zheng Corporation has you. As for me, I'll just take the dividends, too." Li Zhan was speechless, point two. "Also, cousin, it's time for you to find a woman. You're 27, but act like you're like a 72-year-old grandpa." "How boring," he said slyly, point two. "It's time for you to find one, too. My aunt is still waiting to have a grandson." Li Zhan looked over to Wu Yang after he spoke, point two. Wu Yang, who was originally watching the show in front of him, received the gaze and could only stand up in embarrassment. "Oh no, look, it's still work hours, too." It was not the first time Zheng Nuo had been kicked out of the office in such a tactful manner. He raised his chin and snorted twice. "You don't need to tell me. I'll go find a beauty for myself." As he said that, he went out, point two. After Zheng Nuo left, Wu Yang smiled and said, "But boss, although Zheng Nuo's words just now were a little rough, he was trying to make a reasonable point. You are 27 years old, too. I didn't know my secretary has the ability to make a woman cry, too." Wu Yang's heart almost collapsed. Then, he could not comfort himself. As the excellent secretary of an excellent boss, the capacity of his heart must also be excellent, point two. 2 days after the interview that day, Zhou Liqing and Qian Mingfei were called by Sky Shadow Media for another interview. 3 days later, Xiwan and Zhou Liqing received a contract text message from the company's human resources team. Qian Mingfei had obviously failed point 2. Initially, the two of them wanted to comfort Qian Mingfei, but she waved her hand and said, "I was accompanying the princesses to their destiny. It's good that you were chosen, too." Zhou Liqing was so touched that she went forward to kiss her. Qian Mingfei pushed her away disdainfully and said in a rather funny manner, "If Xiwan wants to kiss me, I'll accept it, too." Xiwan was stunned. Zhou Liqing stomped her feet. "That's so annoying." The two of them started to fight point 2. Sun Huayu, who was on the side, said to Xiwan, "Congratulations to both of you. I went online and found out that Sky Shadow Media is an outstanding company, too." The next day, Xiwan and Zhou Liqing went out together to sign the contract with Sky Shadow Media point 2. For the past week, Xiwan basically just stayed in her dorm and worked hard on the project. Even her meals were brought back by her roommates. She worked so hard on the project that she almost forgot to eat and sleep. Her other roommates were also influenced by her seriousness and worked hard on the project. For a time, Dorm 506 was filled with the atmosphere of a top student point 2. One of the main reasons why Xiwan worked so hard was that she would definitely be filming this year. Once she started filming, she'd probably be too busy to attend classes and study. If she did it probably now, she could relax afterward. Although a diploma was not of much use to her, no matter what, since she had possessed Jiang Xiwan, she had to get this diploma no matter what. Otherwise, she would let down what her predecessor had been working on for many years. She could wait a little bit longer to walk into the entertainment industry. She would not be scolded as an actress for being smart point 2. In those days, it was rare for her to appear on the campus boulevard. Many passers-by recognized Xiwan and her friends when they did stroll down the street. Several people reached for their phones to take photos point 2. While Xiwan was still confused, Zhou Liqing waved at the people who took the photos. "Take a look with your eyes. Don't post it on the internet, too." Obviously, it was the after effects of the popular Weibo post point 2. Standing outside the school gate, Zhou Liqing said, "Hey, my Weibo now has 50,000 fans, too." Xiwan didn't reply point 2. "After that post was leaked, a lot of people followed me, but most of them were asking about you." "Xiwan, are you really not going to open your Weibo, too?" Xiwan shook her head. "Let's talk about it when the time comes, too." She had never liked Weibo. There were too many plagiarized marketing accounts, and most of the posts from actors and friends were boring daily routines. The more popular accounts were obviously being curated by a marketing team. They were acting cute and playing down-to-earth every day. They were clearly wearing a mask. It could fool the fans, but it wouldn't fool Xiwan point 2. There were many things that were clearly good that a publicist could turn into something bad. There was also reason and evidence. It was hard not to believe. There were also many things that were clearly bad that could be turned into something good, making the public think that this good was the work of Tianshan Shulian point 2. There were too many fake posts on Weibo, and scrolling past them annoyed her point 2. The incident 6 months prior, for instance, where the public thought their favorite couple was exposed by the man having an affair. This matter was true. Everyone in the entertainment industry knew about it, but they did not say it out loud. They did not expect it to be exposed by Weibo's gossip account, because both the man and the woman were considered top-notch. They were also the model couple in the public's heart, so the netizens couldn't accept it for a moment. The comments and reposts went up within seconds. In less than half an hour, they were on the hot searches, but they were all canceled in a second. Then, the tables were turned too. He was even called the best man in history. There were also many brainless fans who wanted to expose him and get an apology. This was the power of public relations. A black was washed into white. The man was clearly a scumbag, but he became a loving, good man and a good husband. Then, like a stone thrown into a lake, it only rippled, and then there was no movement. The matter was forgotten point 2. She was sick of microblogging, and she couldn't do it, so her microblogging was all managed by the staff. But she didn't want to lower her IQ by making really bad chicken soup for her fans. She didn't want to be a down-to-earth actress with a mask on. Under her orders, the staff had to abandon the down-to-earth or chicken soup selling methods. It became a photo routine instead. Point 2. Her microblogging became posting pictures, pictures, and more pictures. Basically, one microblog post a week, one picture of her, it wouldn't budge. However, as long as she posted a Weibo post, this post would become the most popular post of the day and week. Her fans felt powerful adoration towards her. Point 2. You don't like WeChat and don't have a Weibo account. That's so boring too. Shiwan smiled. So what if it's boring? This is what I like too. Zhou Liqing was touched by Shiwan's smile. Oh, you're so beautiful too. Shiwan didn't thank her for the compliment. Point 2. Sigh. I keep thinking that you're getting more and more beautiful. I used to think that you were beautiful too, but now you're especially beautiful. Too. Too. Perhaps it was because she saw the confusion in Shiwan's eyes. Zhou Liqing said, in the past, you only came and went in a hurry. You didn't stay in the dormitory too much and basically spent most of your time working part-time outside. I once asked you to work part-time as a model, but you shook your head and refused, saying that you didn't want to enter this industry and that it was too messy. Zhou Liqing tucked a strand of hair back behind her ear. She sighed and continued, actually, as long as we keep our hands clean, what's there to be afraid of? 2. Shiwan didn't expect her predecessor to be unwilling to enter the entertainment industry, but thinking about it, she did the right thing. No matter what, her looks were too outstanding. In addition, she did not understand the industry at all. Even if she wanted to keep herself clean, it would be slightly difficult. Her predecessor was not like her, who knew the entertainment industry well. Moreover, she wanted to seek revenge on the woman that ruined her life. That would make the road ahead more difficult to navigate. Point 2. At this moment, hearing Zhou Liqing's slightly naive words, she only smiled slightly, although she did not agree. After all, the current Zhou Liqing was still a simple person who lived in an ivory tower of ignorance. She did not know that many times she would not be able to control herself. One had to know that in the entertainment industry, there were more monks than porridge. The resources and methods that kept people in the entertainment industry were all behind the scenes and being operated by a team or company. If you wanted to be famous, you would more or less be involved in dark deals. Otherwise, why would they give you the resource? 2. Zhou Liqing did not know about this, and Shiwan didn't want to talk to her about it now. No matter what, it was always good to hold on to innocence. Shiwan hoped that she could always be like this. Point 2. However, Sky Shadow Media was not bad. They were not known in the industry for being run by a pimp. She thought of the decision-maker. He was as pure as a mountain and as elegant as flowing water. Presumably, he did not care about such dirty tricks. Point 2. Then she shook his head and laughed at herself for being silly again. Did Shiwan really think that after meeting him twice, she knew what kind of person he was? What's more, if he can influence areas of the entertainment business, how can things be simple or straightforward? 2. But there was always a voice in her heart telling Shiwan that he was a man who disdains inferior means. Point 2. I don't care, Shiwan thoughts raced, repeating themselves over again in her head. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Shiwan pursed her lips and smiled. I don't know what gloss is on my lips today. It's so sweet, too. Rose-flavored lip gloss. Moi. Zhou Liqing giggled, stepping forward without noticing because she wanted a kiss. Point 2. Shiwan quickly pushed her away. I like men too. Ha ha ha, really? Really? Zhou Liqing laughed. Shiwan, have you ever liked anyone since you were young? I'm really curious. Who catches your eye? 2. Zhou Liqing is very gossipy, Shiwan thought. Point 2. Shiwan was stunned for a moment, and the familiar face flashed by. Seeing Zhou Liqing looking at her with sparkling eyes, she pushed her away again and said, it's a pity that you don't want to be a paparazzi in the gossip society. Zhou Liqing's eyes were shining. Point 2. Really, too? No, too. Really, too? Really, too? Shiwan did not entirely believe Zhou Liqing's answers. Point 2. Both girls remained silent. Point 2. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk 2. Jiang Shiwan and Zhou Liqing arrived at the entrance of Sky Shadow Media's building. Point 2. The two of them walked straight inside, now familiar with the building. As they entered, someone came to greet them. Hello. Are you here to sign a contract? 2. The two of them nodded. They were given a piece of paper from a small pile. Please follow the address on it. Then, seeing that another person had entered the door, The woman that greeted them walked over with a smile. Point 2. Xiwan and Zhou Liqing followed the address on the paper. When they reached the door, they saw many people coming out with a contract in their hands, their faces full of joy. Point 2. When they saw Xiwan and Zhou Liqing, they also nodded at them in a friendly way and left. Point 2. Then a gorgeous beauty walked out. Xiwan had an impression of this person. It was the person who said that Zhou Liqing was not afraid of her tongue when she first entered. Unexpectedly, she also entered. Point 2. That person obviously recognized Xiwan and Zhou Liqing too. He snorted and started walking down the stairs. Point 2. Zhou Liqing looked at her back and said, "What are you being so arrogant for?" 2. Xiwan patted Zhou Liqing's shoulder in an attempt to comfort her and said, "All right, let's go in." 2. The two of them entered the door. Jian Fong and Chun Yi, who had met Xiwan the last time, were already inside. When they saw Xiwan and Zhou Liqing, they were very friendly. Point 2. Chun Yi took out a contract from his desk and handed it to Zhou Liqing for her to sign. Jian Fong took a contract from her briefcase for Xiwan. Point 2. After the two of them had read their contracts and confirmed that there was nothing wrong with it, they signed their names. Then Jian Fong and Chun Yi shook hands with them one after another. "Congratulations on becoming part of Sky Shadow Media. I hope that your road to future stardom will be smooth, too." The two of them nodded. Jian Fong said, "From tomorrow onwards, you will come to the company to undergo body, voice, performance, dance, and other training courses. This will last for 3 months. Only those who are qualified can graduate and go on to perform. Those who are not qualified can continue to train. However, if you fail more than 4 times, then the company will terminate the contract with you. Do you understand?" 2. Xiwan nodded to show that she understood. Point 2. A company needed to make money after all. The investment in physical training was a huge expense. If a 1-year training course wasn't enough for someone to graduate, then maybe that person wasn't suitable for the entertainment industry. Point 2. During this period, you can consider renting a house nearby or living in the company's staff dormitory. After you've thought about it, you can report it to Manager Chen tomorrow, Jian Fong said, looking over at Chen Yi. Point 2. The two of them nodded again and left the room. After Zhou Liqing walked out, she could not help but say, "So strict. I thought signing a contract would make you a star." 2. Xiwan smiled. "How can it be so simple? Every year, Sky Shadow recruits 100 trainees, but in a good year, only a dozen of them will be able to advance to the B list. Maybe one of them will advance to the A list. But that's very impressive, FO, an entertainment agency. As long as they can train one A-list artist every year, the operation of the company would not suffer a loss." 2. So complicated. Zhou Liqing was speechless. She hadn't known about this before. She thought that after signing a contract with an entertainment agency, the company would arrange jobs for her. She didn't have high requirements, so she just started doing the old routine. Point 2. Why do you think that Sky Shadow Media has grown to be as formidable as the old company, Huafeng Media, in just a few short years? 2. Zhou Liqing thought for a moment and nodded. "I will work hard, too." Then, the two of them arrived at the 5th floor hall. This was the training base for bodybuilding courses, and apparently they had not arrived early. There were already quite a number of people at the venue. Some were sitting, some were stretching, some were chatting, and some were playing on their phones. Point 2. There was a female coach wearing a bodybuilding outfit at the front of the hall, looking at everyone with a smile. Point 2. 10 minutes later, the originally spacious training base was filled to the brim. Xiwan could count about 100 heads. Point 2. Only then did the female coach pick up the microphone on the ground and turn on the speakers. "All right, handsome men and beauties, please be quiet for a moment." 2. In an instant, the originally noisy environment became much quieter. Point 2. The female coach with satisfaction. "Now, I will read the names. If I call your name first, please come and stand in the front row." 2. Jiang Xiwan. 2. Xiwan did not expect to be the first one. She calmly walked to the first row under everyone's gaze. Point 2. The female coach nodded. "Li Hui." 2. Huang Can. 2. Jin Xian. 2. Xiao Qiu. 2. The coach took a breath. Point 2. She read out for 10 people with her next breath. Afterwards, she stopped shouting and pointed to a small cubicle opposite her. The 10 of you, go next door to classroom 2 tomorrow. 2. The rest of the people were talking amongst themselves animatedly. Some of them had seen Shiwan before and knew that she had been taken out by manager Chinalone. No matter how unhappy they were, they could only grin and bear at point 2. Shortly after everyone dispersed point 2, when they were walking out the door, Zhou Liqing turned to Shiwan. Darling, I knew you had the potential to be a superstar. From now on, I'm going to rely on you, she said with a smile. Point 2. Before Zhou Liqing could finish her sentence, she heard a small giggle. She turned around and saw that it was the woman who spoke through her nostrils. She took large strides forward. Point 2. Zhou Liqing said, the ghost won't go away. 2. Why are you guys here? 2. This voice was very familiar. Shiwan turned her head and saw that it was indeed Li Yan. She was wearing a fiery red chiffon A-line dress, which made her skin look white as snow. Point 2. Zhou Liqing didn't know much about Li Yan, but she knew that she didn't like this prideful young lady, so she asked bluntly, don't tell me you've got a contract too? What kind of logic is that, too? Li Yan ignored Zhou Liqing. She only looked at Shiwan, who was wearing a light yellow shirt and a pair of white jeans. She rolled her eyes. Don't fall for my brother, right? You scheming b. Didn't expect her to be so open about it, too. Like her brother? To think that she could shout that in public. Shiwan had only met her brother twice, and in Li Yan's eyes, it was only once. Moreover, that B*TCH took 10 minutes to get out of the car, and she had zero communication with her brother for the whole time. Unless the word seatbelt counted. Point 2. What? You have nothing to say? Miss Li Yan became even more arrogant. I was right. You really like my brother. That's right, my brother is such a gentleman. There are a lot of people who like him. You're nothing special. She had a smug look on her face. Point 2. Neither Shiwan nor Zhou Liqing bothered to answer. Point 2. Li Yan was talking like she'd just come out of a mental hospital. Point 2. Miss Li Yan tossed the curly hair that hung by her ears. Her every movement was radiant, and before long she had switched her character to be delicate and dainty. However, we are classmates. Although I didn't like you before, and of course I don't like you now, I still have to remind you, too. Shiwan and Zhou Liqing waited for her to continue. Point 2. Li Yan pursed her lips into a smile and said slowly, you can take a look, but you won't be able to eat it. 2. Shiwan smiled. You're thinking too much. 2. Zhou Liqing, who had been standing by the side for a long time, made her unhappiness known. Miss Li, what kind of friends are we? At most, we're just school classmates. Where did you get such a strong sense of superiority from? Besides, even if your brother likes Shiwan, she might not even like him. There's a line of people chasing Shiwan, and it goes halfway around City B. There are many second-generation young masters of rich families, all of them gentlemen, and all of them well-known. Not to mention, Jiang, he knows the campus belle. He's been chasing after Shiwan for 3 years, too. Her words really hit Li Yan where it hurts. Everyone on campus knew that Li Yan liked Jiang Yi, but he was only interested in Jiang Shiwan. Point 2. Li Yan's eyes widened, and she pointed her finger at Shiwan and Zhou Liqing. You too. Shiwan pulled Zhou Liqing by the arm. All right, let's go. With Zhou Liqing's fiery temper, she would probably make the situation even worse. They were in front of one of the lower-level bosses, and if they disgraced themselves in front of a manager, they would be kicked out before they could make a debut too. Zhou Liqing pouted. She thought that it was better to not cause too much trouble. They were outside and at the entrance of the company. It would look really bad if they caused a big scene. All right, let's go back, too. Stop, Li Yan shouted. She hadn't allowed them to leave yet, too. Zhou Liqing turned around. She was extremely displeased and was about to speak her mind once more, but Shiwan stopped her. Point 2. Shiwan looked at Li Yan and said, Li Yan, not all the people you think are good-looking are attractive in my eyes, too. Li Yan was about to die from anger. She wanted to shout back, but her mind was blank. She was at a loss for words. She searched her mind for some poisonous words, but could not find a single one. Point 2. Shiwan turned around and was finally about to leave. Li Yan pulled on Shiwan's sleeve, stopping her once more from going. Point 2. The two stood face to face. Point 2. For a moment, there were a lot of people coming and going at the entrance of the building, Most of them were here to sign a contract with Sky Shadow Media. Upon seeing two beautiful women in front of them pulling at each other by the entrance, most people couldn't help but stop in their tracks. Point two. Some of the gossipers even took out their phones to take photos. Some people were whispering to each other. Point two. Some of them remembered the beauty who had been the hot news not long ago. They couldn't help but stare at her, and the more they looked, the more they felt like they knew her. Point two. Aren't these the two campus beauties from University A? The goddess in white and the beauty in red. Someone in the crowd read aloud as they typed a post on their phone. Point two. It must be them. Are they not on good terms? That's a big piece of news. If it's true, then how can there be two tigers on the same mountain? Two. The photo taking became even more intense. Shiwan and Li Yin were shocked. Point two. Li Yin dropped Shiwan's sleeve and raised her chin with an arrogant expression. Looking into the crowd of phone cameras, she spoke in her golden voice. Those who have been watching and still dare to take photos to gloat are not allowed to leave. 2. What right do you have? Who are you to be so arrogant? A beauty put away her phone and looked at Li Yin with an unhappy expression. Point 2. Li Yin ignored her and continued. If you dare to put photos of me on the internet, don't even think about getting into the entertainment industry. 2. After saying that, she took out a pink iPhone and answered with a sweet voice. Brother, come down. I'm by the front doors, and I'm in big trouble, too. Miss Lee can change her attitude faster than flipping a page in a book. Shiwan thought to herself. Point 2. The people gathered stared at each other as 5 people came out. One of them was Secretary Wu, who Shiwan had seen that day, and the other 4 were uniformed security guards. Point 2. TSK. Not only was there a leader, but 4 security guards from the company came in full force. Everyone was stunned. Point 2. Secretary Wu was the first to see Li Yin. Miss, are you free to come over and play? 2. Li Yin nodded. I heard that there's a physical fitness class tomorrow. I'm here to take a look. She pointed at the people standing around her. I was just chatting with a friend, and I realized that I was being secretly photographed again. Oh my, it's the most tragic thing about being pretty. I hate to have my image in someone's camera when they haven't asked, too. Shiwan's jaw dropped. Point 2. Holy **T. I was just chatting with Shiwan when the whole world came over to take a look. Don't lie. Zhou Liqing exclaimed. Point 2. Secretary Wu sighed. I don't know what's the truth, but the trouble is real. I'm the CEO's secretary, but I've become a professional babysitter for the CEO's sister. 2. Everyone remained silent. Point 2. Secretary Wu looked at everyone who was grimacing with a smile. Hello, everyone. I am the chief secretary of the CEO of Sky Shadow Media Company, Wu Yang. 2. TSK. All this to emphasize that he held some power due to his title. Point 2. As expected, after everyone heard his words, they felt bad. Point 2. So, this campus belle of university, it was the little sister of the CEO of Sky Shadow Media. 2. To people who kept up to date on University A's gossip, the knowledge that Li Yin was a white, rich, beautiful woman from a great background was already widely known. But despite this, they never expected her background to be so great. It was no wonder that not long after the photo was exposed, the person who'd posted it deleted the gossip rather than having their Weibo account suspended. Point 2. Wu Yang saw that everyone was shocked by Li Yan's identity and nodded. On his face, there was a warm smile like a spring breeze. I believe that everyone who came today is a part of our Sky Shadow Media family. Their path to future stardom will all be very smooth, I'm sure. 2. Shiwan looked at Secretary Wu, who was smiling gently, and could not help but sigh as she felt a pang in her heart. After all, he was the chief secretary of Sky Shadow Media. He did not say much, but what he said clearly mattered. Point 2. Shiwan translated his statement in her head. I am the president's secretary, and this is the president's sister. You are now trainees signed by Sky Shadow Media. Whether your stardom will be successful or not depends on whether you offend Miss Lee. 2. However, what he had said, it was just a modest self-introduction. She could barely guess what he was like, but she noticed that his voice was kind and gentle. Point 2. Those who could remain in a position such as chief secretary were not simple dishes. They had to be the whole menu, too. Everyone nodded awkwardly. They took out their phones and deleted the photos. Point 2. Wu Yang smiled, even brightly when he saw how cooperative everyone was. Point 2. Lian was very satisfied with the result. She snorted. You guys are quite sensible. Do whatever you need to do. Anyway, I don't want to see any photos of me or any kind of gossip on the internet, if you know what I mean, too. Everyone looked blankly at her. Point 2. Did she need to tell them again? Nowadays, people on the internet had such strong opinions. It was always, your brother is in the entertainment industry, this, and your family has the support of the Sky Shadow Group. We are not fools. People were so dense. Point 2. Wuyong, is my brother busy now? She asked. Point 2. Yes, too. Ah, that was a stupid question. When is my brother not busy? After saying that, she was about to walk in when she saw Shiwan and Zhou leeching out of the corner of her eye. She stopped and looked at Shiwan. Point 2. She had almost forgotten the reason for the trouble, just now. Point 2. So, are you also a new signing, too? Wuyong looked at Li Yan. It was the beauty he saw the other day. It turned out her and Miss Li knew each other. Point 2. So, Shiwan stared at Li Yan with narrow eyes. You want to debut with me, too? Ugh, you. How did you know that you're going to be allowed to debut? Li Yan was furious. Point 2. Because of my face, Shiwan said with a bright smile. The men and women around her all felt dizzy. Point 2. She had the kind of confidence that only someone who was especially good-looking could have. Point 2. Li Yan said, You're right. We should debut together. I want to see who's more popular between the two of us, too. Zhou Liqing said, You're the young darling of this agency, but you're going to be compared to our Shiwan. Do you think that's fair, too? Li Yan gritted her teeth. Don't worry. I'll compete fairly with you, too. Shiwan said, There's no need. Then she looked at Zhou Liqing. Don't tell me you don't have confidence in me, too. Zhou Liqing nodded. Of course I do. She lost to you in the school beauty competition. What's there to be afraid of in the entertainment circle, too? Li Yan's pretty face was red with anger. Okay, Jiang Shiwan. Just you wait. I don't even have to use my family's power. I'll still be more popular than you, too. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. We're leaving, finally. After saying that, Shiwan and Zhou Liqing walked off together. Point 2. Li Yan looked at Shiwan's back as she left. Wait, I'll definitely beat you, too. Wuyong looked at the two of them and thought to himself, so this is the famous Jiang Shiwan. It's her, the woman who often angered the young miss to the point of coming to me to complain, too. Li Yan often came to Wuyong to complain because of her brother. Li Zhan was impatient to listen to women's so-called jealousy. So every time Li Yan came to complain about Jiang Shiwan, Li Zhan would wave his hand and send Li Yan to Wuyang's. As time passed, Wuyong not only became Li Yan's professional butt wipe, but he also became Li Yan's agony aunt. Point 2. Wuyong looked at the back of the graceful figure that left, and thought that although he'd remained calm from the beginning to the end, his eyes were filled with the attitude of a child. Then he looked at the furious Miss Li and shook his head. No wonder she was so glorious and beautiful. The elegant young miss had been competing with such a stunning beauty for several years. Point 2. Jiang Shiwan was a good seedling, and with the addition of Li Yan, he looked forward to the future of the entertainment industry. Point 2. He believed that Sky Shadow Media would trample on Huafeng Media and become the leader of the industry. It was only a matter of time. On the way back, Zhou Liqing was speechless. I always knew that she was rich and beautiful, but I thought her family had a military background. I didn't expect her to be so arrogant, too. So, this means you have to be careful when you speak in the future. Shiwan said, City B is not big, but it has a lot of powerful people. If you're not careful, you'll offend people. When that time comes, you won't even know what kind of awful things could happen to you, especially in the entertainment industry. You have to be even more reserved with your words and actions. Do you understand, too? Zhou Liqing nodded and gave herself a firm slap on the thigh. I went too far. Will Ian hold a grudge? She asked. Point 2. Shiwan smiled and said she won't, too. Why, too? I don't know, it's just my intuition, too. Zhou Liqing thought about it for a second. Point 2. Tell me, Li Yan has such a reputation. Have you ever seen her bully other people, too? Zhou Liqing shook her head. I'm not sure. I remember that someone in her dorm stole a watch that she'd left on the side. It was the Van Cleef Arbestar watch. Li Yan would always talk about it. It was quite expensive, apparently worth over 1 million yuan. In the end, the thief was caught by and sent to the counselor. Originally, she was going to be sent to the police station. She could have gone to jail. Leon didn't seem to pursue the matter any further. In the end, the girl was only expelled. Later, I heard that she had to steal to support her poor family, and she studied in the Department of Performing Arts. The tuition fees and expenses were too high, and the family couldn't afford to help her. They could only steal. Her dormitory was pretty bare too, apparently. In the beginning, Li Yin even hired a private investigator, all to no avail. Some people in her dormitory had even suggested that Li Yin deliberately left it there for that person to steal. Living expenses usually amount to around 1,000 yuan, so it was obviously worth the risk for her, but she really could have been badly punished. She stole a person's expensive watch and was caught red-handed by the people in a neighboring dormitory. I didn't believe it at the time, but now that I think about it, it's definitely possible, too. Xiwan nodded. This was the first time she had heard of this point, too. Thinking about it carefully, it was very likely that after the first time something was missing, Li Yin realized who was the thief in the dormitory. She was probably just too embarrassed to point out the truth, because she felt sympathy for the thief. She only secretly let her steal the money. In any case, what was 1,000 yuan to Miss Li Yin? The cost of a meal, probably. But Li Yin was a child after all. She thought that if the thief's basic needs were met, the thief would stop. However, she did not know that greed was difficult hole to fill. Point 2. The scariest thing in human nature was greed. When the thief realized that the matter would not be pursued, he would only think that act was not bad. Once tasting something that's sweet, it is never that easy to let it go. It was a vicious cycle. This kind of thing should be put out at the very beginning. It must not be left or encouraged in such a way. Point 2. Look, Li Yan's initial kindness only served to cultivate an unrepentant, great thief. Just like how she thought she would be satisfied if she treated a person wholeheartedly and satisfied their needs without asking for anything in return, she did not expect to be used and to be hated by someone she didn't really know. In the end, she hated Li Yin, and that was her downfall. Point 2. Presumably, the thief who was expelled would not remember Li Yin for the living expenses she had provided over the years. She would only remember that it was because of Li Yin that she was expelled from school. Point 2. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk 2. Speaking of school, it was not too far from Sky Shadow Media, but it would take some time to travel back and forth every day. Xiwan and Zhou Liqing had made the decision to stay in the company's dormitory. Point 2. Xiwan called her mother to tell her the news. She had originally planned to return the house she was renting, but Xiwan quickly persuaded her to stay in the house she had bought. She also told her that she was being paid as a trainee, but of course this was a white lie. Her mother then stopped thinking about going back to the old house. In the end, she only said, "Take good care of yourself, too." The other two girls in the dormitory couldn't bear to let Xiwan and Zhou Liqing leave. Once they left, the dormitory would be half empty. How lonely was. Point 2. But when they thought about the future, they knew their paths would be different. They worked even harder. No matter what, they couldn't be too different from their good friends. Point 2. That night, the four of them went to Fresh Gourmet for dinner, which was a rare luxury. Point 2. They ate and drank happily. Point 2. Initially, Xiwan wanted to pay the bill, but she was stopped by everyone. They split the bill, but Xiwan managed to pay some dormitory fees without letting them know how much money she really had. Point 2. The moon was bright, and there were barely any stars visible in the sky. A rare, clear night. Zhou Liqing suggested going to a bar to have a good time. Everyone was in high spirits. They searched for the most famous bar with the best security. Then, they took a taxi straight to a. Point 2. Dark Night was one of the best chain bars in City B. Business was so good, and it was often full of people. One had to know that in a place like City B, the bars were competing with each other directly. Dark Night was able to hold its own and steal a huge amount of customers from nearby bars. It was a chain with a good reputation, and for that reason Dark Night was quite strong as a business. Point 2. Although she did not like to go to bars in her previous life, Xiwan had visited Dark Night a few times. The privacy was always secure, and the soundproofing effects were very good. More than that, it was creative. If they were lucky, they might even see big-name artists singing and dancing here. Point 2. Of course, an entrance fee was also necessary. Point 2. Other bars didn't have entrance fees, but Dark Knight charged an entrance fee of 200 yuan per person. They didn't hesitate to put the prices to a premium, but no one felt that they were being taken advantage of. Of course, if you felt that the entrance price was too expensive, you could also apply for their VIP cards. They were made of real gold and silver, and they were worth the cost. They gave you a discount in the shop, which made things much less expensive. Some VIP cards were limited in circulation. So many wealthy and powerful people in city fought over them. One card was sold at a sky-high price, but they were kept in short supply. The boss behind the scenes was really good at doing business point too. When they arrived at the nearest Dark Knight bar, it was 9 o'clock in the evening. It was early, so the bar wasn't packed yet. The four of them quickly bought tickets and went inside point two. The exquisite service girl led them to a four-person booth. There were already some people sat around. On the stage, a group of handsome men and beautiful women were dancing. The scene was very glamorous point two. Although the girls did not usually go to bars, they all had their fair share of experiences. Therefore, they were not naive people who would fall for novelty point two. Not long after they sat down, the waitress brought them menus. Another server came with a free fruit platter. There was another tray with peanuts, seaweed knots, and chicken rice point two. They ordered some cold dishes and drinks, and then began to watch the program on the stage point two. Qianming Face said, "You guys should play while you can. It's going to be hard to come out so freely in the future." 2. Zhou Liqing pouted. It's not going to happen that fast. I'll sign the contract, and I can't just debut just because I signed the contract. Sky Shadow is so strict. Oh, right, and there's something else too. Li Yin, she's the eldest daughter of Tianying, too. So, awesome. It was obviously the first time the other two had heard anything about it. So, Zhou Liqing told them what had happened during the day point two. Everyone clicked their tongues when they heard what had gone on. No wonder she's so arrogant at school usually. It turns out that she comes from a strong background. She's the eldest daughter of the legendary Tianying. Then, isn't her mother the movie Queen Zheng Yinin for back then? No wonder she's so beautiful. It turns out it's in her genes, too. They gossiped about Li Yin and Sky Shadow Media for a while. After a while, they moved on to recent big gossip in the entertainment circle. Time passed quickly point two. The official opening of Dark Knight was about to begin. At this very moment, the host was warming up point two. Xuan had probably drunk a little too much wine over the course of the evening, so she got up and went to the bathroom. The venue was large, but she'd been here before once or twice in her old life, and she remembered where to go point two. No one worried about her going alone. After all, Dark Knight was famous for its security. Otherwise, all those guests would be paying for nothing point two. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk 2. Xuan smoothed down her outfit as she walked out of the bathroom. She felt more relaxed point two. When she came out, she noticed something in the secret corner of the public toilets. A man and a woman were passionately kissing. Even though there were people coming and going in the washroom, the two continued to kiss without any reservations. The woman was flirtatious and let out a lewd moan. Just listening to it would make any sensible person's blood boil point two. The woman's heavy makeup hid her appearance. And as for the man, although it was only his side profile, he was very family to Xuan. The famous singer, Xiao Yinzheng. The theme song of the movie War S was sung by her and Xiao Yinzheng together point two. He was considered something of an ascetic and had a good reputation in the industry. He had never been part of any scandals with female celebrities. He did not appear previously to have such a wild side point too. Xuan washed her hands and no longer paid attention to the scene over there. She left out of the bathroom without looking back. When she walked through the passageway, she stumbled and tripped over someone. When she turned around, she saw that it was a red-haired boy. Behind him were a few blonde guys wearing gold and diamonds in their ears, which sparkled under the lights. They were looking at her provocatively point two. Do you want to go on a date, pretty girl? 2. The security in Dark Knight is pretty good. Xuan looked at this group of transgressive people and was not afraid. He probably didn't have the courage to act recklessly point two. They can't do anything outside of Dark Knight. He smiled wickedly point two. Is this your first time here? Xuan didn't get angry and asked instead. Looking at their expressions, she guessed that her guess was right. If you don't know the rules, go and looked them up online. After saying her piece, she turned around and left point 2. F***, I don't believe it. The guy with red hair shouted excitedly. Just as he was about to move, he was pulled back by his friend. Brother Chien, this is Dark Knight, don't bother. We'll talk after we get out, too. Okay. Li Zi, keep an eye on this girl for me. Red hair took a sip of his drink point 2. She can't avoid us forever, too. There were certain rules in Dark Knight that had long been agreed upon. Once you entered, there were no disputes. If there a quarrel started in Dark Knight, or if people were looking to start trouble outside, then the people involved would be out. As long as it was reported, Dark Knight would forcefully intervene, pull up the surveillance footage of the incident, find the relevant people involved, and then investigate. If it was true, the people would be permanently blacklisted. Of course, this was only the light in the dark, to pardon the pun point 2. There had been gangsters in the past who did not believe they had to follow the rules. They came to Dark Knight to look for trouble one night and didn't like what they found. In the end, they broke their hands. This was considered a small punishment. There was, generally speaking, a tacit understanding. This was the main reason why Dark Knight had operated for so many years without many sexual disputes, money disputes, fights, and other vicious hooligan incidents point 2. Those who open a bar generally had an interesting background. And those who opened bars on the scale of Dark Knight had a very unusual background indeed point 2. No one would thought that the boss of Dark Knight was being a bully. He was doing it for the safety of the people who loved to hang out in bars. It was a good thing. After all, in this day and age, bars have become synonymous with drugs, prostitution, and fights. Any sensible person would be happy that there was finally a bar that ensured people's safety point 2. The identity of the boss remained a mystery. There had never been a chance to find out who he was, until now. The two professional managers of Dark Knight might have looked friendly and answered all questions when asked, but the key points were to get them to talk. To put it in layman's terms, they were extremely strict point 2. As time passed, the boss of Dark Knight became more and more mysterious point 2. Xiwan had heard about it from a few friends she had made in the entertainment industry in her previous life point 2. Xiwan, we really struck gold today, Zhou Liqing said excitedly as soon as Xiwan sat down. This is so great. I didn't expect that we would be so lucky. We usually can't even get tickets for Xiao Yinjing's concert. He surprised everyone, and people can't handle their excitement. Too. Xiao Yinjing too. Yes, it's definitely Xiao Yinjing. Even Sun Huayu, who is not usually so quick to fall in love, had stars in her eyes. I really didn't expect that he would come tonight. Dark Knight really is awesome. Xiao Yinjing was probably on the guest list, too. Qian Mengfei sighed. We can't get close to him even if we get really lucky. We could try to buy a lottery ticket later. Maybe we'll win a big prize, too. No, I'm too excited. I'm so close to my idol. Zhou Liqing's eyes shined. She patted her small chest point 2. Xiwan held her tongue point 2. It turned out that her roommates were Xiao Yinjing's fans point 2. Oh right, Dark Knight has a lucky draw in the performance segment. I heard that every gift is a special surprise. I look forward to my good luck, too. The three roommates were already captured by the celebrity bubble, and Xiwan smiled knowingly point 2. Xiwan, you're not excited at all, too. That's right. Xiwan, don't you like Xiao Yinjing too? Xiwan looked at Qian Mengfei and Zhou Liqing, who were rushing to speak after each other, and she said, he's okay, too. She didn't really like him anymore. The scene she had witnessed before was too lewd. Although she knew that it was normal for people to do that, she felt a little disgusted when she saw it, but she wasn't sure exactly why. His reputation in the industry wasn't bad, and in her previous life they had gotten along well when they worked together. Of course, she couldn't rule out the possibility that he and Sun Wanyu had been up to things like that all along. She certainly knew how to pretend to behave point 2. The girls nodded point 2. The host's voice suddenly came out loudly through the speakers. Okay, I know that everyone has been waiting for this for a long time. Now let's give a huge welcome to our idol, Xiao Yinjing, okay, too. Okay. Waves of cheers, accompanied by screams, resounded through venue point 2. Xiao Yinjing, Xiao Yinjing, Xiao Yinjing too. The voices merged into a loud chant of his name. Xiwan looked at all the people their red faces from shouting. It was as if their original intention of coming to Dark Night was not to hang out at the bar, but to join in with Xiao Yinjing's concert. Point 2. Underneath the thousands of cheers and yells, a clear voice sounded in everyone's ears. Point 2. She said, "Summer love is spreading everywhere, and I'll find my way back to your side, too." He was singing the classic lyrical song, Summer Love. The previously noisy bar suddenly quieted down. By the time the song reached its climax, everyone in the bar was singing along. There was music, but there was also crazy bursts of screaming. 2.2. Xiao Yinzheng seemed to sing two songs in one breath alone, and the atmosphere at the scene was high to the point of exploding. Point 2. After the two songs, the host appeared again, a huge smile on his small red face, and said, "I can't think. My face is so red, my heart beating so fast. How about you two?" "Us too." The crowd cheered back. Point 2. That neat voice sounded as if it had been rehearsed 1,000 times. The people who were next to him held their faces in their hands. F***CK, he's so handsome. He's so much more handsome in real life than how he looks in TV shows, too. F***CK. There's actually a man this brilliant in the world, too. Shiwan remained silent. Point 2. The host was very happy. He wiped his hands on his pants and then reached out his hand. "In Yinzheng, right? Hello, hello, too." Xiao Yinzheng smiled. His long eyes narrowed into a crescent moon. "Hello, too. This voice is too nice. I bet someone could get pregnant if they listen to it too much." The host was very humorous. Point 2. Xiao Yinzheng smiled. "Who wants to have my baby, too?" "Yes, yes, yes." A wave of cheers and screams rang through the air. Point 2. There were wild variations. One particularly avid fan shouted, "Xiao Yinzheng, I'm already pregnant, too." "Xiao Yinzheng, I want to bear your child." Another cried out. Point 2. The host waved his hand to signal for everyone to quiet down. The backstage staff had already moved chairs onto the stage. The two of them took to their seats. Point 2. The host said, "I'm here with Xiao Yinzheng. Do you have anything to say to the fans below the stage, too?" "Hello, everyone. I'm Xiao Yinzheng, too." "Ah." The audience cheered. Point 2. As everyone knows, you haven't released anything for 2 years. I'm sure there will be many fans who are curious about when your new album will be coming out, too. It's still in preparation. I'll be telling everyone on the official website, too. After some official questions, the host laughed mischievously. "Everyone, are you curious about our Xiao Yinzheng's private life, too?" "I'm curious." Everyone shouted back in unison. Point 2. The host asked, "So, are you single right now, too?" "Yes, I'm single, too." "What kind of girls do you like, too?" Xiao Yinjing smiled for a long time. "Any girl as long as she's pretty, too." The crowd was silent for a second, and then everyone swooned together. "Ah, too. All of you ladies have a chance then." The host winked. Point 2. "Ah, too. Then, Xiao Yinzheng, is there anyone you like in particular? You know that the media is actually very concerned about your marriage, too." Xiao Yinjing thought for a moment. "Yes, but she's not around anymore. Maybe now I won't be able to like other girls. Let's just leave it to fate, too." Everyone was silent again for a moment before saying, "Ah, too." Shiwan rolled her eyes discreetly. As expected of someone from the entertainment industry, she thought. Less than a minute ago, he was kissing someone against a wall in the dark, but in the blink of an eye, he's a virtuous industry professional, too. After that, Xiao Yinjing sang another energetic song, accompanied by a hot dance routine and dazzling lights. Everyone was intoxicated by it. Point 2. When they sat down once more for the second part of the interview, it was time for Dark Knight's special gift lottery. The host said, "It's now time for the lucky draw. The first gift is an autographed album from Yin Zhengfu's collection, too." The big screen started to roll to pick the winner of the lucky draw. Point 2. The ticket you bought when you entered had your participation number on it. Soon, the first number flashed on the screen, 32.2. The one who was chosen was a curvy girl with heavy makeup. After she went on stage, she held the autographed album and danced excitedly. "Ah, I'm so happy. This album is out of print. I'm really lucky today, too." After she had finished her happy dance, Xiao Yinzheng hugged her. She was so excited that she couldn't control herself, and a few happy tears fell down her cheeks. Point 2. The girls below were extremely jealous. She's too lucky. It's actually a full set of albums. I'm so envious, too. Shiwan looked around. Women with similar expressions to her roommates were pouting throughout the crowd, and there were even quite a number of such men who looked green with envy. Point two. The host announced the second gift. It was a briefcase that Xiao In-jung had used. It was a nice brand and looked brand new. It was a 14-year-old classic. If she remembered correctly, it cost hundreds of thousands of 20 cents. F***, I need this bag. Although it wasn't necessary, it had been once used by an idol too. Number 93, too. Too. The girl with number 93 stood up excitedly and rushed onto the stage so quickly that she almost fell down. When she was asked if she wanted to say anything, she was still incoherent. Point two. Finally, it was the third gift that everyone had been looking forward to. No one knew what kind of prize it would be. Point two. The host smiled and said, "Now this third gift is really special. I really want this gift, too." Upon hearing this, the crowd became even more excited. Point two. When the host saw that the atmosphere in the venue was so high, he stopped teasing the audience. "Well, isn't there a new album in preparation? The main song is missing a female lead for the music video. TSK, someone in this room will be lucky enough to have with our idol. Just thinking about it is making me jealous, too. What if a man wins?" The men in the venue appeared to be sulking. Point two. Xiao In-jung said, "Haha, they'll just have to cross-dress. But I believe that my luck is good, so I'm asking for a pretty girl, too." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Point two. The host laughed too and said, "So girls, I wish you the best of luck. Big screen, let's find a number, too. Number 68, too." Silence. Point two. Well, the host scanned the crowd for movement. Point two. Still, no one came forward. Point two. 10 seconds had passed, but no one reacted. The crowd was full of doubts, and people began gently whispering to each other. Point two. Zhou Liqing said, "Number 68? Damn, I'm 69. I'm missing a number, too. I'm 67. Qian Mingfei was also depressed. She had missed out on being chosen 3 times. What a pity, too. Wait, the two of them said in unison. They took the number that Shiwan had thrown to the side and saw the number 68 with dazzled eyes. Point two. Just when everyone thought that no one would come forward, Zhou Liqing said excitedly, this way. 68 is over here. Over here." Zhou Liqing pushed Shiwan towards the front. This way, too." Everyone was looking at Shiwan with jealousy and surprise flashing in their eyes. Many men whistled. Someone shouted, "Great beauty, too." Even Xiao In-jung on the stage had a flash of surprise in his eyes. His manager said that he would take matters into his own hands. What if he drew an unrivaled, ugly monster? What should he have said? He said, "My luck has always been good, too." But he had only drawn one number, and she really was a killer beauty. Point two. She was so beautiful, especially her eyes, which were as black as the stars in the night sky. Point two. The host called Shiwan onto the stage. Shiwan said, "I'm only 69. She's 68." As she pushed her Zhou Liqing out in front of her. Point two. Zhou Liqing looked at her in disbelief. "Shiwan, too. Go up, too." Zhou Liqing was still looking at Shiwan. Although she really wanted to have such intimate contact with her idol, the prize was to be the female lead of his MV. Many idols have become famous after being cast in MVs. She and Shiwan had originally planned to enter the industry to earn a living. This was a rare opportunity. Point two. Are you still going up? People started to get impatient. Seriously, this was such a good opportunity, yet they were still hesitating, too. Shiwan said, "Hurry up and go on, too." Qian Mingfei saw that Shiwan really did not want to go up, so she advised, "Liqing, hurry up and go up. Don't leave the idol wait for too long, too." Zhou Liqing's eyes were red. "Shiwan, you're my favorite person ever." Then, under the envious glares of the others, she went up on stage. Point two. The host saw that it was not the killer beauty that he had just seen, but the girl standing before him was quite beautiful. He smiled and said, "She's really a beauty, too." Xiao In-jung looked at Shiwan and then looked at Zhou Liqing in front of him. He still had a warm smile on his face. "You're very beautiful. I'm really lucky to have found a great female lead for my music video, too." Zhou Liqing, Her face still red, replied modestly. Thank you for the compliment, Prince Charming. I'll act well, too. The interaction on stage continued. Sun Huayu looked at Shiwan. After a long time, she said, Shiwan, don't you want to go into the entertainment industry too? Shiwan nodded. Point two. Then you too. Qian Mingfei didn't understand either. Although they were all good friends, this kind of opportunity wasn't something that could just be given away without consideration. Point two. Shiwan said, I'll have a lot of opportunities. There was no lack of opportunities. Even though this was a very good one, she had another reason to turn it down. She didn't like Xiao Yinzheng. Point two. Qian Mingfei and Sun Huayu seemed to understand, but they didn't say anything. After all, they were best friends. Point two. After the prize draw on stage ended, the program of other entertainment activities continued. At this point, the staff called the four of them backstage. It must have been inconvenient for them to get them on stage at once. Point two. The smile on Zhou Liqing's face had not faded at all. Point two. I'm really happy to be able to see my idol up close. I can't believe it. I feel like my skin looks better after being around him, Zhou Liqing said excitedly. Point two. While they were chatting and laughing, they walked through the bar and soon arrived at the backstage of Dark Knight. In a large dressing room, Xiao Yinzheng and his manager were talking about something. Beside them, the host and a few staff members were also chatting and laughing merrily. When they saw the four of them enter, they nodded. Point two. The manager seemed to be angry that Xiao Yinzheng had acted on his own initiative. The gift draw had been random. It was not until his assistant said that he was lucky enough to get a great beauty that his ugly expression became a little better. The manager remained mostly skeptical and said, Of course she looked great. This is a nightclub. The lighting is flattering and everyone is dripping with makeup. Just how beautiful can this beauty be, too? He saw the four girls walk into the dressing room, and one of them was so beautiful that she looked like she had applied a selfie filter with pink love hearts and bubbles around her face. Her every move was peerlessly beautiful, and the girl next to her was also very dignified and beautiful. The other two were far sloppier, but they still had some potential, he noted to himself. His staff had already said that this girl was a beauty, and he knew instantly who fit that description. It was probably her. Point two. With all of this running through his mind, his manager's eyes lit up. He felt lucky. It was hard to find such natural beauty in the entertainment industry, too. He walked towards Shiwan with a smile. Hello. I'm Xiao Yinjing's manager, too. Shiwan brushed him off straight away. You've got the wrong person. My friend's the one who was chosen. She looked at Zhou Liqing, who was beside her. Point two. The manager felt his cheeks blush. He did not expect to make a mistake. He turned to see that Zhou Liqing was the second beauty of the four. Although she could not be compared to the first girl, she was her own unique beauty. He was very happy. Haha, he laughed nervously. Hello. I'm Xiao Yinjing's manager, too. Zhou Liqing smiled awkwardly. Hello, I'm Zhou Liqing, too. Nice to meet you. I want to discuss a few details about the MV. Shall we go over there, too? Okay. Zhou Liqing was very happy. Point two. Zhou Liqing and the manager walked to a booth. Point two. Shiwan and the other two sat on the sofa on the other side of the room. Xiao Yinzheng, who was taking a sip of his drink, walked over to Shiwan the girls with a smile on his face. He sat down on a chair beside them, looked at Shiwan, and then looked at the two others. Hey, do you mind me asking your names? Too. Qian Mingfei and Sun Huayu were very excited. They didn't expect their Prince Charming to be so friendly and kind. Point two. Hello, Prince Charming. I'm Qian Mingfei, too. Hello, Prince Charming. I'm Sun Huayu, too. Jiang Shiwan, too. Xiao Yinjing's face turned white and he frowned. Prince Charming, please don't misunderstand. Our Shiwan is her own person. She simply shares a name as the diva Jiang Shiwan, too. Xiao Yinjing smiled. You don't seem to like me, too. Qian Mingfei and Sun Huayu's faces fell, shocked. Point two. There are many people who like you. They hoped that he didn't think that either of them did not like him. Point two. Xiao Yinjing nodded. Indeed. Then, he got up and walked towards Zhou Liqing. Point two. Qian Mingfei and Sun Huayu looked at Shiwan in confusion. Hey, Shiwan. But Shiwan simply smiled and didn't say anything. Qian Mingfei and Sun Huayu stopped gossiping. Point two. On the other side of the room, Zhou Liqing was talking to Xiao Yinjing's manager. Point 2. Yinjing is planning to release the album on Christmas Day, so we are going to shoot the music video for the main single at the end of this month. Look at your calendar and see if you're free for any of these dates. 2. Zhou Liqing frowned. She was no longer a free agent, she remembered, but a trainee of Sky Shadow Media. She wondered if the company would let her participate. Point 2. What's wrong, 2? I just remembered that I just signed a contract with a media company today. I don't know if they'll allow me to be in the MV without permission. 2. The manager looked at Zhou Liqing in surprise. Xiao Yinjing must have been really lucky to find an artist who was about to debut. Point 2. Miss, may I ask which media company you are from? 2. A trace of pride flashed across Zhou Liqing's heart as she answered. I just signed with Sky Shadow Media. 2. So, Sky Shadow Media. I see. Haha. We often do business with them. Don't worry. I'll let them know when the time comes. It shouldn't be a problem. The manager had originally planned to get a few new recruits from Sky Shadow before the idea of a lucky draw had been pitched to him. But in the end, he still got what he wanted. Zhou Liqing became more and more pleasing to the eye. Point 2. Zhou Liqing said, I don't want to trouble you. 2. Don't worry about that. He laughed. Let me ask you a question. Has your friend signed a contract? 2. Zhou Liqing instantly understood that the manager was asking about Shiwan. She nodded and said, yes, she signed with Sky Shadow too. 2. Oh, the manager replied and smiled at Zhou Liqing. Sky Shadow is really lucky to have signed both of you. 2. Zhou Liqing smiled modestly and said, not at all. 2. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk 2. As they walked out of the door, a gust of cold wind made everyone shiver. The excitement on Zhou Liqing's face could not be stopped. Qian Mingfei pinched Zhou Liqing's cheeks and said, all right, it's already 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're still so energetic. Let's see how you'll do with your training tomorrow, 2. But I'm just so excited. Aya, the dormitory is already closed. Let's just stay at the Express Hotel, 2. Sun Huayu rolled her eyes at Zhou Liqing. I just remembered now, 2. The four of them walked towards the Express Hotel, which was not far away from Dark Knight. Point 2. Damn, we've finally arrived. A loud voice rang in their ears. There's still 4 beauties. 1 each, 2. Shiwan looked for the source of the voice. Wasn't this the red-haired guy she met in the bathroom? 3 hooligans followed behind him. Point 2. It was laughable. There really were people who were so stupid and unafraid of death that they would dare to cause trouble. Point 2. Shiwan's roommates looked at the 4 men. Thinking that it was late at night and the men had ill intentions, their hearts trembled. Point 2. Shiwan had learned self-defense techniques. She was filming a TV show and had studied at a martial arts school for a long time to learn the most that she could. It was easy for her to dropkick some perverts, but she still had 4 weak roommates by her side. She gritted her teeth. She really had not expected to meet such a trash idiot in Dark Knight. Point 2. Shiwan knew she had to protect the 3 of them alone. She whispered, run quickly. Split up and run. Call the police or find the security of Dark Knight. I'm going to stay here, too. Qian Mengfei said, I'll stay with you. I've learned self-defense techniques. Liqing, why you too? Zhou Liqing was on the verge of tears. But my legs are weak, too. Sun Huayu gritted her teeth. Mengfei, you're fast and strong. We're counting on you, too. Stop talking, Mengfei. Take them and run, too. Hee, look at you, even discussing countermeasures. There are 4 girls. We have 1 each. The red-haired man was very arrogant. Point 2. Shiwan looked at him coldly. Let's see if you have the appetite, too. Damn, you still dare to be so hot. If I don't teach you a lesson today, you won't know how high the sky is, too. The red-haired leader spoke as he took a step towards Shiwan. Point 2. Run, too. Qian Mingfei pulled Zhou Liqing and Sun Huayu. They ran forward together with her. Point 2. The red-haired predator saw that she didn't run, but the other 3 ran away instead. His guys behind him were still in a daze. You bunch of lunatics. Hurry up and chase after them. F***CK. Do you really want someone to call the police? 2. The 3 men looked at Jiang Shiwan, then at the other women who had already run away, and quickly ran after them. Point 2. Red Hair sneered. This place is perfect for me to exercise, too. Shiwan stretched her muscles and bones, then stared at the man in front of her. Many people are looking for death. Are you too? F*CKU. He jumped up with a kick point too. Shiwan dodged and easily avoided Red Hair's attack point too. Although his kick landed on the ground, it hadn't caused any damage. He spat and turned on his heel, unwilling to give up. Shiwan's eyes moved. She reached quickly and grabbed his ankle. She dodged to the side and whipped her wrist, which in turn whipped his ankle. She turned and used centrifugal force to throw him out point two. Bang point two. Bang point two. Red Hair was thrown off. Daze point two. Shiwan seized the opportunity to pursue him. She grabbed his ankles with both hands this time, pulled him forward, and smashed him onto the ground point two. Bang point two. He spat out a mouthful of blood as red as his hair point two. He never expected that this beautiful girl wasn't as weak as she looked and was, in fact, a martial arts expert. His head was dizzy. He was seeing yellow stars, and he felt that his organs had shifted around inside his body point two. Shiwan moved forward and kicked him in the chest point two. This was no ordinary kick, but a skillful 1.2. He felt as if his ribs were broken. He couldn't stop tears streaming down his face point two. F*CKU. Red Hair was in so much pain he couldn't get up. He could only curse point two. Shiwan didn't so much as blink. She struck him, slapping Red Hair so hard he became even dizzier point two. He shouted an assortment of curses point two. Slap point two. Slap point two. Slap two. Since her rebirth, she had been holding back her anger. Now that someone had crossed her, that anger and rage was coming out at once point two. I'll make you stupid, blind, and incompetent. Wild thoughts rushed through her mind point two. Slap. Slap. Slap two. Shiwan slapped back and forth very smoothly. It was as if Red Hair's face had turned into a pig's head point two. Take out your phone and call your little boys back, too. Red Hair replied by swearing at her once more point two. Shiwan snatched the phone from his pocket without holding asking again. What number, too? Red Hair spat a mouthful of blood onto the floor in front of him. F*CKU, B*TCH, 2. Shiwan frowned and looked at the messy list of contacts inside. She looked at the recent contacts. The second one was Chung Zai, so she called him point two. The call went through point two. Boss, are you done? These women ran into a 24-hour supermarket. There are surveillance cameras there. What should we do, boss, too? Hee. Shiwan sneered into the receiver point two. Who are you? You called the wrong number. But when she looked again, she knew it had to be the right number. Chung Zai, on the other side of the conversation, was stunned point two. What do you think? Is this the wrong number? As she said this, Shiwan slapped the red-haired man who was lying on the ground point two. The red-haired man's face was in so much pain that he couldn't speak clearly, but his sobbing was loud enough that it could be heard over the phone point two. F*CK. Chung Zai was stunned point two. A stranger happened to walk past and saw a weak-looking woman in front of him. She had beaten a man to the ground, and her eyes were wide open. He looked at the scene in disbelief. He kept blinking to see if the scene in front of him was real. It was point two. F*CK2. Shiwan turned her head towards the stranger. There was no warmth in his eyes. It was as if he was a messenger from hell. The stranger was so scared that his whole body trembled, and he immediately left point two. What was wrong with this world? If such a beautiful woman was not satisfied with her desires, she could easily satisfy them. Why did she have to force herself on him, too? Shiwan directly called Dark Knight's security team and told them the specific location. After hanging up the phone, she dropped it on top of Red Hair and left in a carefree manner point two. By that point in time, Qin Mingfei had already called the police. After the hooligans found out that their boss had failed and been beaten up by a girl, they turned on their heels and ran back as quickly as their pathetic legs could carry them. They had to check on their big brother's situation point too. All of these events meant that when they reached Red Hair, the police were also just arriving, and so were Dark Knight security. The girls had called the police and explained the situation, so there was no way that they could pretend to be innocent bystanders. They were even dressed like vagabonds point two. Without saying a word, they were all arrested and sent to the police station point two. Take me to the hospital, Red Hair shouted point two. It was just a small thing, one of the other guys said. We just wanted to scare them. The police stared at them through the mirror. We didn't even do anything. Our boss was beaten and has a serious injury, too. Huh. Who's going to believe that? The policeman laughed. Point two. The policeman continued. According to the evidence, this was attempted rape. That's a pretty serious crime. You'll be staying in the police station for now, too. Asterisk, 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 too. When Xiwan found Qianmeng Fei and the others, they were sitting in a corner of the convenience store. The store clerk poured them a glass of water. Point two. When they saw that Xiwan was unharmed, they immediately cried, Xiwan, it's great that you're okay. 2. Xiwan nodded and sat down to comfort them. After a little while, they ventured out of the convenience store and found a hotel nearby. Point two. The four of them asked for 2 standard rooms, but they were paranoid that the big guy was hiding in the bathroom. It was obvious that the fear was still lingering. They were not like Xiwan, who had experienced kidnapping, threats, and extortion. This was the first time they had experienced such things, and it was also the first time they realized that in an era of peace, there was still darkness. Point two. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when everyone woke up the next day. Point two. Xiwan and Zhou Liqing had overslept and were late for their first training day. Point two. When Xiwan turned on her phone, there were dozens of missed calls. Zhou Liqing's phone was receiving a lot of notifications. 2.2. Because of what happened last night, Zhou Liqing's face was pale with anxiety. Now that she saw so many calls from the company's managers on her phone, she was even more nervous. Point two. Xiwan, what should I do? What should I do, Xiwan? Did I spend all my luck after meeting my idol last night? Otherwise, how can my luck be so bad? She sobbed. What if the company doesn't let me debut? 2. It's too late to worry about that. Anyway, you have your idol's music video performance to look forward to. Xiwan replied. Point two. All right. Zhou Liqing's eyes sparkled again. Point two. After the four of them were dressed, they headed back to school. Xiwan and Zhou Liqing changed their clothes, then called a taxi and went straight to Sky Shadow Media. Point two. When they reached the training room on the 5th floor, the physical trainer was instructing everyone to stretch their meridians. When he saw Zhou Liqing and Xiwan coming late, he screwed his face up to show disdain. He directly reprimanded them. I've trained so many big-name idols. I have never been late or left early for my classes. This is the first time I've seen you 2 trainees who haven't debuted yet. Late on the first day. With this attitude, don't even think about debuting. Don't even think about becoming famous, too. Teacher, I'm sorry. Zhou Liqing apologized. Point two. The teacher wasn't paying any attention to the two of them. Over there, straighten your legs. How many times have I told you not to bend your knees? 2. Zhou Liqing looked at Xiwan with eyes full of tears. Point two. Xiwan patted her shoulder. Teachers are like this. Just explain the situation to her. I'll go over first, too. Zhou Liqing nodded. Then, Xiwan went into the small room next door. Point two. Teacher, I'm sorry I'm late. 2. Yes, your training clothes are on the side over there. Go and change first. The teacher waved her hand at a pile of gym clothes. The changing room is over there. After you change, go to the side to exercise. I'll check on your health later. The teacher in front of her was a woman in her 40s. She had an elegant figure. Spoke gently. Point two. Huh, did you think that you would just magically debut? Everyone has to deal with the basic training of the company. Just as Xiwan took her training clothes and was about to go to the changing room, a red figure appeared in front of her. She looked up. Wasn't that Lian, too? Lian pursed her lips. Let me tell you, if you don't take it seriously, my brother will never let you debut. No matter how good-looking you are, too. Xiwan nodded. Oh, too. Hey, what's with your attitude, too? Miss Li, I'm going to change. What about you? Continue stretching. With that, she walked towards the changing room. Point two. Lian looked at Xiwan's back and stomped her feet. Point two. Although not all of the trainees who signed the contract saw the scene at the door yesterday, it had spread in private. Therefore, in less than half an hour, almost all of the trainees knew that Li Yin was the CEO's sister. Point two. Of course, people with good intentions would want to be nice to someone with influential connections. Point two. Therefore, when a little beauty saw that Li Yin was defeated, she went up to her and said, Li Yin, why are you being nice to her? People like her don't know what's good for them. 2. Li Yin rolled her eyes at her and raised her chin. It's none of your business, too. The little beauty's jaw dropped. F***. She thought to herself, this style isn't right. She wanted to change her clothes and came out to warm up point two. This body was not as flexible as she had been before. It was even a little stiff if she was being honest. Fortunately, she had been practicing yoga. After several months, although her flexibility still wasn't on par with her previous body, but she could bend and twist as much as any dancer point two. She started to work on her standing splits to stretch her hamstrings point two. Your body is quite tough. The teacher walked past her. You are Jiang Xuan, right? Two. Xuan nodded. Yes, teacher. Two. You can address me as teacher you. Two. Xuan nodded. Hello, teacher you. Two. Have you practiced before? Two. A little bit of yoga is two. Teacher you nodded. Yes, no wonder. You must persevere with the bodybuilding course, especially for female artists who want to enter the industry. The body requirements are even harder. When you eat, you must eat less high-calorie foods. 2. The bodybuilding course was designed to train the trainees' bodies and posture. It first trained their bodies to be graceful, then trained their posture to be outstanding. Point 2. When being photographed in a public place, it didn't matter which angle someone was shooting from. There would be nowhere to hide poor form and posture. Point 2. It was easy in theory, but more difficult in practice. Consider how many female celebrities get photographed indecently by the media. Point 2. After teacher, you said a few more basic things Shiwan should look out for. You want to check on the other students. Point 2. All the students were very hardworking, and they were very engrossed in their training. Time passed quickly, and before anyone noticed, it was 11:30 a.m., and therefore the company's lunch break. Point 2. After teacher, you asked everyone to stop training. He gathered everyone to line up. The female students went to the front and the male students to the back. Chunyi, who was already in the training room, stood up from the bench and walked to the middle. Let me take a look at everyone's accommodation situation. Those requesting to stay at the company, please report to me. 2. Out of 11 trainees, everyone except for Li Yin walked towards Chunyi. Presumably, everyone knew in their hearts that it was a waste of time commuting back and forth when those hours could be spent training more. Point 2. Li Yin looked at Jiang Xuan, last in line to sign her name, and gritted her teeth. Uncle Chunyi, I'm also staying at the dormitory. 2. Chunyi's eyebrows jumped up on his forehead. Oh, you? Living in the dormitory? Eldest miss, what kind of joke is this? 2. Li Yin nodded earnestly and said, I want to live with Jiang Xuan. 2. Jiang Xuan's eyes registered her shock. Point 2. Li Yin pouted at Xuan. Why? Are you afraid of living with me? 2. Xuan stammered, 2. Chunyi coughed twice. I'll have to ask directly about this. 2. Why? Li Yin demanded. Point 2. Chunyi no longer answered the little girl's words. Instead, he kept the information sheet in his hand and said to everyone, this evening, everyone will receive a text message informing you of your dormitory locations. You can move in tomorrow. He looked at Li Yan's small eyes. Feeling the pressure, he hurriedly said, I still have other things to do. If anyone needs to speak to me, I'll be working. He quickly made his escape. Point 2. Teacher, you dismissed everyone, telling them they could go and eat some lunch. There's singing and acting classes this afternoon. Don't forget where the classroom is, he said, dismissing everyone. Point 2. Xuan had changed her clothes, and Li Yin was waiting for her at the door. Point 2. Xuan really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Point 2. I waited for you because I saw that no one was eating with you. After all, we are schoolmates. 2. My roommate is waiting for me outside. 2. Li Yan's small face turned green with jealousy and red with anger. She snorted, muttered, who cares, turned her heels, and left. Point 2. Xuan rolled her eyes. Point 2. After leaving the small classroom, Zhou Liqing waited for Xuan at the door. There was a strange woman standing beside her. The two of them were talking and laughing. Point 2. The woman saw Xuan first. Hi, Jiang Xuan, she said. Point 2. Although Xuan didn't know her, she still nodded and smiled at her. Hello, 2. I'm Huang Yu. I saw you on the day of the interview. You're really beautiful, 2. You're also very beautiful, 2. Haha. I can't compare to you. You shocked everyone the moment you entered. Manager Chun decided on you on the same day. And among all the interviewees, you seem to be ranked first. You will definitely become famous in the future, and I've met you, too. Shiwan looked at her slightly exaggerated expression and only smiled, not saying a word. Point two. Zhou Liqing clapped her hands and said, "All right, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's go eat first. I'm starving. I haven't even eaten breakfast yet, too." Thinking of the terrifying night they'd had and how they had a rush in the morning, Zhou Liqing patted her chest. She couldn't help but feel grateful that she was standing where she was. Point two. Sky Shadow had its own canteen, which was at the Sky Shadow Hotel across the street. Of course, there were other places to have lunch, and employees received a monthly allowance of 500 yuan for their meals. Point two. The three of them followed most of the other trainees to Sky Shadow's hotel and went straight to the dining center on the second floor. Over here, most of the food was fast food. If they wanted something else, they could order some stir-fried dishes on the third floor, which might be more expensive. Point two. Shiwan had never been willing to treat her taste buds unfairly, and she wasn't lacking in money for food, so she naturally planned to go to the third floor. As for Zhou Liqing, she had always listened to the opinions of the people around her. Seeing that Shiwan was under the third floor, she was heading to the third floor as well. Point two. However, too, Huang Yu tugged on Zhou Liqing's sleeve. "I heard that the food on the third floor is very expensive," she said. Point two. "Then you should try it." Zhou Liqing could be very naive. Point two. Shiwan looked at Huang Yu's flickering expression and understood. However, she didn't want to accommodate her. She didn't really like her, and she didn't want to be wronged again by anyone else. Back then, for Sun Wanyu, she had given in so many times, and look what had happened to her in the end for that. Point two. "Miss Huang may like to eat on the second floor, but we will only eat on the third floor, too." Huang Yu looked at Jiang Shiwan in shock, and then looked at Zhou Liqing with tears in her eyes. "Liqing, you two go eat on the third floor. I'll be okay alone, too." This dramatic show was to be expected. Huang Yu wanted to enter the entertainment industry as well. She could cry and act like she was wronged. What a sneaky white lotus. Point two. Zhou Liqing looked between the two of them awkwardly. One was a friend she had just made, and the other was her good friend. "Shiwan, how about two?" Shiwan's eyes darkened in an instant, and then she said calmly, "Liqing, you can accompany her to the second floor. I'll go to the third floor, too." She turned around and walked upstairs. Zhou Liqing looked at Shiwan's back as she left. Just as she was about to chase after her, Huang Yu pulled on her sleeve. "Is she angry, too?" "No, Shiwan won't be angry." Zhou Liqing felt a little uncomfortable, but she still smiled and comforted Huang Yu. "Let's go eat first, too." Huang Yu nodded. Shiwan went up to the third floor alone. Point two. Jiang Shiwan. Her thoughts kept her company as she walked up the staircase. "You've been Jiang Shiwan for so long, you've really almost forgotten all the things that happened before. Have you forgotten what happens when your friends betray you? You've lost your life once before, but still don't remember, too." Her face was composed and pale, and her mouth was held taut, not smiling. She appeared as cool as an immortal. Many people looked at her twice, 3 times even. Their hearts sighed over her beauty. Point two. She looked around at the empty tables around her. There were only a few empty seats to choose from. Most of the tables were already occupied. Shiwan chose a seat by the window. Point two. This location wasn't too bad. There were even some trees outside the windows, which were very pleasing to the eye. The waiter quickly walked over and handed Shiwan the menu. "Hello, Mississippi. Here's your menu. I'll give you some time to take a look." Shiwan nodded. Point two. When Shiwan finished ordering and was about to pass the menu to the waiter, she looked up and saw Li Yan with the CEO's secretary Wu Yang, both smiling. Point two. Perhaps they really were natural enemies. The moment Shiwan looked up and saw Li Yan looked up and saw Shiwan. She also saw the empty seats next to Shiwan. Point two. "Brother Wu, come, let's go eat over there." Wu Yang turned in Shiwan's direction. Point two. Wu Yang looked at the third-floor hall, which was crowded, but still had many empty tables. He didn't understand. Didn't the Li Yin hate this Jiang Shiwan girl the most? Why was she so eager to go over and eat with her, too? Before he could stop her, Li Yin had already walked over to take the free seat. Point two. Wu Yang sighed. Point two. The moment Shiwan saw Li Yin walking over, she froze. Point two. The waiter waited patiently next to the table. Xiwan handed over the menu. The waiter nodded and turned to leave. Point two. Li Yin sat across from Xiwan. Wait, I haven't ordered yet. Two. The waiter turned back and looked at Jiang Xiwan in confusion. Are you ordering together? Two. Li Yin directly took the menu from the waiter and browsed through it. She found that Xiwan had ordered 4 dishes, 2 meat dishes, 1 vegetable dish, and 1 soup. So thrifty. You're poor? Oh yes, you're poor. If you're so poor, why are you eating on the 3rd floor? 2. What has it got to do with you? Xiwan didn't normally mind Li Yan's attitude. After all, she was not a bad person. It was just that her words were sometimes a little harsh. However, there was only so much she could take. Even clay figurines get hot and angry in the fire. Point two. By that time, Wu Yang had also joined them at the table. Upon hearing Li Yan's remarks, he frowned and then smiled awkwardly at Xiwan opposite him. Miss Jiang, I'm sorry. Let's share table. Don't take Li Yan's words to heart. She has always spoken without meaning. She doesn't know how to speak. This meal is considered an apology. I'll treat you. 2. Li Yan looked at Wu Yang's fawning attitude and snorted. Then, she buried her head in the menu and started to think. Point two. Xiwan nodded. He was the boss's #1 subordinate. Since he had lowered his attitude, there was no need for her to go overboard. I don't mind. After all, she's still a child, she said. A 21-year-old child, commonly known as a giant baby. Xiwan thought about saying, but kept to her thoughts. Point two. Li Yan snorted and handed the menu to the waiter. The waiter took the menu and looked at her order. What he saw made his head dizzy. His first thought was, did I tick the wrong menu? Did someone make a mistake? Are these the dishes that she wanted to order? Then the waiter considered the possibility that they simply wanted to cause him trouble. Point two. The waiter counted the number of ticks. Miss, are you sure that the ticks are the dishes that you want to order? 2. Li Yan snorted. Don't you know how your restaurant works? Why are you a waiter? The waiter wanted to slap the menu on her face when he saw the "I'm rich and willful" look on her face. Point two. The waiter was finally about to leave. Got it, he said. Point two. Xiwan looked at the waiter's unpredictable expression and thought about how Li Yan had ordered the dishes. She knew exactly what she was doing. Point two. Wu Yang's expression changed drastically. He quickly said to the waiter, "Can you show me the menu?" 2. The waiter nodded and handed the menu to Wu Yang. He barely glanced at it before looking up at Li Yan. Li Yan felt a little guilty. Please, could you give me a new menu? Wu Yan said without looking at Li Yan. Point two. The waiter heaved a sigh of relief and nodded. He took out a new menu for them. So the lady was simply here to cause trouble, the waiter thought. There were more than 200 dishes on the menu, and only 10 dishes had been left unchecked. Would the chef have been able to cook them? And even if he could cook them, how could the table fit all that food? Could they even eat all of that? His mind raced with thoughts. Point two. Wu Yang checked a few dishes and handed the menu to Xiwan. Xiwan saw that he had basically checked the dishes she had ordered, and there were already more than 10 dishes. She did not tick anything else and handed the menu back to the waiter. Point two. Li Yan was furious. What about me, too? You? Haha. Wu Yang laughed. Right, give me another list. Bring it back and we'll pack it up, too. The waiter nodded. Asterisk, 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 2. While they were waiting for the dishes, Li Yan looked at Xiwan. Didn't we agree that we were going to eat together, too? Xiwan smiled. Oh, too. Li Yan saw that she wasn't getting anywhere in befriending Xiwan. She had used up all her strength. Her fists had clenched on her lap. She was tired and did not like it. She might as well shut her mouth and play with her phone. So that's what she did. Point two. The atmosphere at the table became slightly sour. Point two. Wu Yang was a good socialite. He had long sleeves, was good at dancing, and was not able to resist the challenge of the unrivaled beauties sat with him at the table. But even he had to admit that they were not easy to get along with. Point two. Miss Li had a child's temper. She was willful and didn't care about the consequences of her actions. Point two. As for Jiang Xiwan, she looked indifferent to the world around her. However, the colder she appeared, the bigger her temper became. She didn't take much to heart, but Wu Yang understood her clearly. Her temper was very much like his boss, Li Zhan. Point two. Fortunately, the awkwardness didn't last long, as the waiter soon began to serve the dishes. Point 2. The dishes on the third floor were indeed very exquisite and delicious. The prices were certainly much higher than those on the second floor, but compared to the fresh gourmet restaurant, they were much cheaper. Point 2. Shiwan had beaten up those hooligans last night and had gone to bed too late to deal with Li Yin today. It had taken a lot of energy out of her. On top of that, she had rushed over in the morning and had not eaten anything. Her stomach was completely empty during training. The noodles in the afternoon were not bad. Many of the dishes were suitable for her appetite. She had eaten a lot. Point 2. Li Yin looked at Shiwan with disbelief as she reached for another bowl of rice. Point 2. The bowls in the restaurant were very small, but it was shocking for a celebrity in training to eat so well and so much, too. Shiwan calmly accepted Li Yan's astonished gaze and continued to eat. Point 2. It had to be said that Shiwan's dining etiquette was really excellent, not inferior to that of a socialite. In addition to her exquisite appearance, watching her eating a meal was a feast for the eyes. Point 2. Wu Yang observed this in secret as he ate. He sighed in his heart. If the Li family did not have a sense of family background, his boss and this girl in front of him would really be a perfect match. The two of them were well matched when it came to looks and bearing. Wu Yang was sure she was from a respected broadcasting class at University A, and her academic qualifications were decent, if not quite matching the boss. Point 2. The more Wu Yang thought about it, the more his mind was made up. Point 2. However, Wu Yang looked at Li Yin and shook his head. Forget it. No matter how much Shiwan ate, there was still a pile of surplus dishes on the table. It was really wasteful. Wu Yang ordered another order of takeaway dishes. After paying the bill, the three of them walked down the stairs. Point 2. On the second floor, Zhou Liqing and Huang Yu were waiting at the door. Li Yin looked at them waiting for Shiwan and seemed to understand something. She looked at Shiwan with a sneer and said to Wu Yang, who was carrying the takeaway box, "Brother Wu, let's go." 2. Wu Yang rolled his eyes. "Do I really look like a psychic to you?" 2. Wu Yang and Li Yin left, leaving Shiwan with Zhou Liqing and her new friend. Point 2. Zhou Liqing took Shiwan's arm and said, "Hey, you're eating for so long. I've been waiting for a long time." 2. "You could have come up to the third floor to find me," Shiwan replied indifferently, and her expression didn't change. Point 2. Zhou Liqing saw that Shiwan's expression was the same as usual and said, "Hee, I didn't expect that." 2. Huang Yu saw that it would not be wise to interrupt, so she asked softly, "Was that girl the sister of the company's CEO?" 2. Shiwan didn't reply. Point 2. "Yes," Zhou Liqing replied quickly. Point 2. "I didn't expect her to be so beautiful." She hadn't witnessed Shiwan and Li Yan's fight at the company's entrance yesterday. When she had seen a video clip, she was indeed shocked. With such a beautiful face, it would be smooth sailing for Li Yin to enter the entertainment industry in the future, right? She came from such a noble background. Point 2. Thinking about all of that, Huang Yu's heart was full of jealousy. Point 2. She looked at Jiang Shiwan next to her. She was also the kind of person who was so beautiful that it was hard to breathe when she was around. They were both at two ends of the beauty extreme. One was as beautiful as a demon, and the other was as beautiful as a fairy. Point 2. When Jiang Shiwan came in that day to interview, everyone else was shocked by her appearance. Of course, that included Huang Yu. She had spent a lot of effort to be selected by the interviewers, while Jiang Shiwan in front of her was easily picked by Manager Chun on the spot, from just her face alone. She had entered the small classroom so easily. Huang Yu was afraid that when she debuted in the future, the company would also want to support her, right? 2. Although the teacher said that if they worked hard they would be famous, there were so many obstacles in front of them. Even if she was going to debut, the good resources would surely not be given to her. Huang Yu bit her lip. Point 2. She's from the same school as you, right? 2. Zhou Liqing only nodded. She didn't like Li Yin, but she didn't want to publicize this information. Point 2. The atmosphere was awkward again. Huang Yu said, "Shiwan, I heard that you and the eldest daughter of the boss's family are not on good terms. Is that true?" 2. "You heard." Shiwan turned and looked at Huang Yu, who was a head shorter than her. "You're in the entertainment industry. I heard is not the kind of thing cannot be trusted." 2. Seeing that the two of them seemed to be at odds again, Zhou Liqing tried to smooth things over. Ah, Huang Yu. What time is it now, too? Huang Yu was a little unhappy that she didn't get the information she wanted, but seeing that Zhou Liqing was obviously trying to change the topic, she looked at her watch. It's almost time, too. Oh, then let's hurry back. The acting class starts at 1:30. Bang point 2. Red hair was thrown off. Days point 2. Xuan seized the opportunity to pursue him. She grabbed his ankles with both hands this time, pulled him forward, and smashed him onto the ground point 2. Bang point 2. He spat out a mouthful of blood as red as his hair point 2. He never expected that this beautiful girl wasn't as weak as she looked and was, in fact, a martial arts expert. His head was dizzy. He was seeing yellow stars, and he felt that his organs had shifted around inside his body point 2. Xuan moved forward and kicked him in the chest point 2. This was no ordinary kick, but a skillful 1.2. He felt as if his ribs were broken. He couldn't stop tears streaming down his face point 2. F*CKU. Red hair was in so much pain he couldn't get up. He could only curse point 2. Xuan didn't so much as blink. She struck him, slapping red hair, so hard he became even dizzier point 2. He shouted an assortment of curses point 2. Slap point 2. Slap point 2. Slap 2. Since her rebirth, she had been holding back her anger. Now that someone had crossed her, that anger and rage was coming out at once point 2. I'll make you stupid, blind, and incompetent. Wild thoughts rushed through her mind point 2. Slap. Slap. Slap 2. Xuan slapped back and forth very smoothly. It was as if Red Hair's face had turned into a pig's head point 2. Take out your phone and call your little boys back, too. Red Hair replied by swearing at her once more point 2. Xuan snatched the phone from his pocket without holding asking again. What number, too? Red Hair spat a mouthful of blood onto the floor in front of him. F*CKU, B*TCH, 2. Xuan frowned and looked at the messy list of contacts inside. She looked at the recent contacts. The second one was Cheng Zai, so she called him point 2. The call went through point 2. Boss, are you done? These women ran into a 24-hour supermarket. There are surveillance cameras there. What should we do, boss, too? Hee. Xuan sneered into the receiver point 2. Who are you? You called the wrong number. But when she looked again, she knew it had to be the right number. Cheng Zai, on the other side of the conversation, was stunned point 2. What do you think? Is this the wrong number? As she said this, Xuan slapped the red-haired man who was lying on the ground point 2. The red-haired man's face was in so much pain that he couldn't speak clearly, but his sobbing was loud enough that it could be heard over the phone point 2. F*CK. Cheng Zai was stunned point 2. A stranger happened to walk past and saw a weak-looking woman in front of him. She had beaten a man to the ground, and her eyes were wide open. He looked at the scene in disbelief. He kept blinking to see if the scene in front of him was real. It was point 2. F*CK2. Xuan turned her head towards the stranger. There was no warmth in his eyes. It was as if he was a messenger from hell. The stranger was so scared that his whole body trembled, and he immediately left point 2. What was wrong with this world? If such a beautiful woman was not satisfied with her desires, she could easily satisfy them. Why did she have to force herself on him, too? Xuan directly called Dark Knight's security team and told them the specific location. After hanging up the phone, she dropped it on top of Red Hair and left in a carefree manner point 2. By that point in time, Qian Mingfei had already called the police. After the hooligans found out that their boss had failed and been beaten up by a girl, they turned on their heels and ran back as quickly as their pathetic legs could carry them. They had to check on their big brother's situation point 2. All of these events meant that when they reached Red Hair, the police were also just arriving, and so were Dark Knight security. The girls had called the police and explained the situation, so there was no way that they could pretend to be innocent bystanders. They were even dressed like vagabonds point 2. Without saying a word, they were all arrested and sent to the police station point 2. Take me to the hospital, Red Hair, shouted point 2. It was just a small thing, one of the other guys said. We just wanted to scare them. The police stared at them through the mirror. We didn't even do anything. Our boss was beaten and has a serious injury, too. Huh, who's going to believe that? The policeman laughed point 2. The policeman continued. According to the evidence, This was attempted rape. That's a pretty serious crime. You'll be staying in the police station for now, too. Asterisk, 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 too. When Xiwan found Qianmeng Fei and the others, they were sitting in a corner of the convenience store. The store clerk poured them a glass of water. Two. When they saw that Xiwan was unharmed, they immediately cried, Xiwan, it's great that you're okay. 2. Xiwan nodded and sat down to comfort them. After a little while, they ventured out of the convenience store and found a hotel nearby. 2. The four of them asked for 2 standard rooms, but they were paranoid that the big guy was hiding in the bathroom. It was obvious that the fear was still lingering. They were not like Xiwan, who had experienced kidnapping, threats, and extortion. This was the first time they had experienced such things, and it was also the first time they realized that in an era of peace, there was still darkness. 2. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when everyone woke up the next day. 2. Xiwan and Zhou Liqing had overslept and were late for their first training day. 2. When Xiwan turned on her phone, there were dozens of missed calls. Zhou Liqing's phone was receiving a lot of notifications. 2. Because of what happened last night, Zhou Liqing's face was pale with anxiety. Now that she saw so many calls from the company's managers on her phone, she was even more nervous. 2. Xiwan, what should I do? What should I do, Xiwan? Did I spend all my luck after meeting my idol last night? Otherwise, how can my luck be so bad? She sobbed. What if the company doesn't let me debut? 2. It's too late to worry about that. Anyway, you have your idol's music video performance to look forward to. Xiwan replied. 2. All right. Zhou Liqing's eyes sparkled again. 2. After the four of them were dressed, they headed back to school. Xiwan and Zhou Liqing changed their clothes, then called a taxi and went straight to Sky Shadow Media. 2. When they reached the training room on the 5th floor, the physical trainer was instructing everyone to stretch their meridians. When he saw Zhou Liqing and Xiwan coming late, he screwed his face up to show disdain. He directly reprimanded them. I've trained so many big-name idols. I have never been late or left early for my classes. This is the first time I've seen you 2 trainees who haven't debuted yet. Late on the first day. With this attitude, don't even think about debuting. Don't even think about becoming famous, too. Teacher, I'm sorry. Zhou Liqing apologized. 2. The teacher wasn't paying any attention to the 2 of them. Over there, straighten your legs. How many times have I told you not to bend your knees? 2. Zhou Liqing looked at Xiwan with eyes full of tears. 2. Xiwan patted her shoulder. Teachers are like this. Just explain the situation to her. I'll go over first, 2. Zhou Liqing nodded. Then, Xiwan went into the small room next door. 2. Teacher, I'm sorry I'm late. 2. Xiwan stayed in the School of Martial Arts for almost a year after that movie because of those words. Then, she made her comeback. The first step was to become a pure martial arts practitioner and tell the story of the woman's ugly plot to fake her way into the martial arts world. She won the Best Newcomer and Best Actress award in one fell swoop. 2. She treated Tan One as her teacher. Whenever it was a new year or a festival, she sent a text to wish her well, and she often gave her small gifts. 2. She had not expected that they would meet again so soon as a teacher and disciple. Tamlin was now in her 60s. She had a kind expression and wore a pair of silver-rimmed reading glasses. 2. The moment she entered, she looked at everyone with her eyes beaming. She said, "Io, the young people these days really are as beautiful as flowers and as lovely as jade. I feel younger just looking at all of you." 2. Everyone laughed. She let everyone introduce themselves. There are 11 of you in total. I have divided the class into 2 groups. I saw that 7 of you are planning to debut as actors, and 4 of you are going to debut as singers. 2. Everyone nodded. She addressed the 4 hopeful singers and said, "Don't think that just because the 4 of you are going to sing that you won't need my acting lessons." 2. Of course not, Teacher Tan. 2. That's good to know. She turned to look at the others. I hope the 7 of you don't blame me for being strict, she said. 2. No, Teacher Tan. 2. When they were divided into groups, there were 6 people on one side and 5 people on the other. Li Yin and Xiwan happened to be opposite groups. 2. From now on, you will perform in groups to learn, Tamwin said with a smile. 2. Li Yin lifted her chin and looked at Xiwan. Looks like it's a competition. 2. I've seen your information. Other than those who plan to debut as singers and Jiang Xuan, all of you are from the performance department, right? 2. Everyone nodded in agreement. Then, Tanlin looked at Jiang Xuan. What a beautiful girl. You should first perform a drunken performance. 2. This performance was not easy, but it was not particularly difficult. Tanlin wanted Xuan to perform drunk to see Xuan's level of talent. After all, most of the people who walked the path of an actor were trained in a professional class. Many of them didn't need to be taught anymore. However, if someone's foundation was 0, they would have to make other plans. Point 2. Xuan nodded. Point 2. Looking around at everyone else, Xuan felt a flash schadenfreude, and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. Point 2. Xuan knew that these people must have been unconvinced. It seemed unfair that a person that had so clearly received professional training be the #1 priority in their acting class. They were all good-looking people, but in the entertainment industry, true popularity was reserved for those with acting skills. 2. Since Xuan intended to re-enter the entertainment industry and wanted to reach the top as soon as possible, and she didn't want to waste her time on 3 months of practice, she wasn't going to hide her talent. 2. To be honest, even if it was just 3 months, the practice would be useless for her. The fact was, however, that this was the company's rule. It was a set process. Since she didn't have any outstanding works and wasn't from a professional school, she could only passively accept this career practice. Point 2. Unless she could prove that she was very good at acting. Point 2. Would it be possible to shorten that time? 2. Xuan decided to perform a silly scene where a girl was drunk because she wanted to forget about her lover, who she missed terribly. She rubbed at her face until her eyes were misty and her cheeks were red, and she made sure that her smile was intoxicating. 2. Everyone was shocked because, unknowingly, they had been blown away by Xuan in that scene. They could truly empathize with her character, too, and clearly, she had not rehearsed any lines, too. Then, Xuan performed another scene where a lady was drunk in her boudoir. Point 2. Her scarlet eyes were filled with monstrous hatred as she smashed the tabletop, making the most of her vast imagination. Then, she looked up at the sky and smiled, her eyes filled with tears, too. The crowd, who were still immersed in the previous scene, were so shocked by Xuan's sudden change of character to the lady in the boudoir. However, when it ended, they were left speechless once more. Point 2. After this performance, Xuan acted out the drunken appearance of an ordinary office worker. After drinking, she felt a little dizzy. She shook her head and patted her face, then laid back on the bed, her head heavy. She narrowed her eyes, slurred a few words, and then fell asleep. Point 2. The 3 performances were of different styles, but they were closely connected and each was fascinating by itself. So much variety in such a short time. 2. It was not just the trainees who were shocked by Xuan's performance. Even Tan Wen's eyes were full of shock. Point 2. Good. After a long time, Tanwen broke the reverent silence. Point 2. Tanwen looked at Xuan with eyes full of inquiry. Point 2. This young woman did not seem to be a beginner who had no deductive experience at all. To be able to give 3 completely different performances in such a short time, from laughing to crying, from being silly to complaining, even being insensitive, was very impressive. The details of every performance, right down to the subtle expressions on her face, were perfectly handled. Point 2. Was she really a beginner with the trainee program? 2. Xuan looked at the crowd with a smile. Point 2. Those watching from the professional classes became even more incredulous. Point 2. Wasn't she from the broadcasting department? Why was her performance better than mine? Negative thoughts ran through the minds of many people who'd watched her. Xuan had blushed, laughed, and cried easily and fluidly. Most importantly, that aura had easily engaged people with the scene she created. Point 2. Did you really not have any acting experience before? Tanwen asked. Point 2. Xuan nodded. Point 2. Your talent is really extraordinary. Even she can't compare to you. Tanwen sighed. Point 2. Xuan knew who she was talking about. That person was herself. Every time she called Tanwen for advice in her past life, she would tell her, Xuan, you're really the most talented person I've ever seen. Look, you've won so many Best Actress awards so quickly. And amazing. If this goes on, as long as you win the Golden Ball and Golden Age Awards, you'll be the youngest Grand Slam Best Actress. It made sense. If she was already more talented than her past self, her acting career in the years before she died would have been in vain. 2. I'm filled with excitement for the future you. Tanwen's silver-rimmed eyes were shining brightly. Point 2. Lian watched everyone's shock at Shiwan's performance. She couldn't believe that this girl could act so well. However, she still refused to admit defeat. Point 2. I'll do it too. Tanwen looked at Lian. She knew that she was the young mistress of the company, so she smiled at her. All right, then you can perform an emotional, crying scene. 2. Why can't I perform drunk too? Lian blinked. If she didn't act drunk, how could she compete with her too? The crowd looked from Lian to Tanwen. Point 2. Tanwen cleared her thought. I assigned the tasks. It's time to test your acting skills. 2. Lian thought about it and agreed. She began to act out the crying scene. Point 2. The first scene depicted a young girl and her lover parting. She wanted to say something but was unable to, and in the end could only say goodbye, turning around with tears streaming down her face. The second scene was of a girl betrayed by her lover. Her eyes were red, and she didn't want to let her tears fall. She gave a fierce slap and yelled, B*TCH. The third scene showed her crying from joy after a false alarm. She was stunned at first, and her eyes were empty and lifeless. Her legs went limp, and she fell to the ground. Finally, she picked up a phone call, and her expression changed, suddenly filled with surprise. After she jumped up, her legs went limp, and she staggered forward, her face filled with tears. This is great, someone whispered in the crowd. Point 2. She performed all 3 acts together in one go. Point 2. After the performance was over, Lian wiped the tears from her face and resumed her role as the arrogant and condescending Miss Li. She sighed. How was it too? Shiwan always got the impression that Lian was particularly haughty. Her mouth was a little vicious, but her heart was still kind. She had her own taste for wickedness that Shiwan did not completely understand. For example, after Lian met her at the restaurant, even after finding out that Shiwan's family background wasn't good, or so she assumed, Lian kept ordering from the menu. She purposely ordered a big table just to make her afraid of her money. Lian had made such a fool of herself in front of her idol, Jiang Yi, when she had planned to pay the bill all along. 2. Shiwan hadn't thought for 1 second that Li Yan's acting ability was so strong. 2. If she was being honest, Li Yan was even stronger than she was when she had just debuted in her previous life. If Li Yan was given more than 10 years of experience, her achievements might not be lower than hers. 2. Tanwen clapped her hands. Good, too. Everyone smiled, and a few people murmured, good, under their breath, but they cursed her in their hearts. Point 2. One girl cleared her throat and angrily said, F***CK? Why did you let these 2 in the class? Were these 2 trying to crush the entertainment industry? They were already perfectly molded, beautiful vases. They don't need to be able to act, so why are they so skilled? Not fair, too. The boy next to her whispered back, Thank God I'm a boy. The future of the entertainment industry will be made through a battle between these 2 goddesses. 2. Lian saw that many people were shocked by her performance, so she looked at Teacher Tanwen. She pointed at Shiwan and said, Teacher, who's stronger, me or her? 2. Tanwen was stunned. Your performances are different. Lian definitely had great confidence, but she couldn't say such things out loud. What if ate away the confidence of Shiwan? 2. Lian protested. There must be a difference in performance, too. Seeing that she was not going to stop until she got an answer, Tanwen said, You are both very good. You will be among the few people in the industry who are extremely talented. Tanwen paused to consider what she wanted to say next. Shiwan's performance was very natural, a little more deliberate, and a little less lacking. But your performance was still very worthy, Lian. You are still you, and the characters remain outside of you. You are not that character. You're not acting from the state of mind of your characters. You're merely performing the actions that you think that person will do, and not the actions your character will naturally do. Tanwen paused to let her words be understood. This is the difference between you and Shiwan, but even so, you gave a very top-notch performance. Accumulate more experience, and you'll be able to grasp the mind of your characters in the future. 2. Li Yin gritted her teeth. Despite her pride, she agreed with this answer in her heart. 2. Teacher Tan's evaluation of her was the same as what her mother had said. 2. Her mother was the legendary Zhang Yining, the record holder of the Grand Slam Best Actress. Even at the peak of her career in her previous life, Jiang Xuan, who was widely watched and loved by the outside world, was unable to break the record set by Li Yan's mother. 2. Every time she rehearsed in front of her mother, she would say, "You're still in the development stage. When you understand the true essence of performance, you can debut for me." 2. When she asked why, her mother said, "You lack an aura. Your performance can scare the layman, but the experts can see through it at a glance. You add too many things into your performance that don't need to be there. It makes it very difficult to resonate with others." 2. Jiang Xuan's performance just now had the kind of aura that her mother was talking about. It can make people feel uncomfortable and happy at once, too. But she wasn't convinced. Jiang Xuan clearly didn't have any experience, right? 2. Tanwen looked at Li Yin, who had fallen silent. She wondered if she had been too harsh, so she quickly said, "Actually, your performance is already very good for your age. You will definitely become a great actress with time." 2. "I know," Li Yin said. She looked at Xuan. "I will be stronger than you." 2. Xuan smiled. 2. What truly made Xuan stronger than Li Yin was her grasp of the details. Without talent and a few years of experience, she definitely wouldn't have known this. Some people will go their whole lives without understanding this difference. This was also the reason why the same performance, which had been performed by actors for many years, remained good or bad. And Li Yan's talent wasn't bad either. All that she lacked was the wisdom time can bring a person. The news of Xuan and Li Yan's acting skills spread quickly through word of mouth amongst their group. Many people could not believe that these two girls, who were drop-dead beauties, also had killer acting skills. How could their peers bear this, too? That night, both Xuan and Zhou Liqing received a text regarding their dormitory arrangements. 2. Xuan was assigned to room 801 in Building A, Qinshui Apartments, while Zhou Liqing was given room 402 in Building B of the same apartment complex. It came as a surprise that they were not in the same dormitory. 2. Zhou Liqing cried her eyes out. She draped herself on Xuan's body and mumbled, "Why? Why? They didn't let us have classes together, and won't even let us live together. I don't want to too." Sun Huayu and Qian Mingfei looked awkwardly at each other. 2. Xuan patted Zhou Liqing's shoulder. "We're both in the Qinshui building. We're just on different floors, too." The second floor of the Qinshui apartment building had been purchased by Sky Shadow Media and was used as company apartments. If the employees of Sky Shadow Media wanted their accommodation provided for them, the company would assign them a dormitory. If they did not want to live in the company's dormitory, Sky Shadow would give them a housing subsidy. 2. When they moved into the dormitory, Xuan realized the so-called apartment for three was really only her and Li Yin. 2. That's right, Li Yin. 2. When Xuan checked in, Li Yin was already inside. She could see the smug look clearly in Li Yan's eyes. 2. Hee, aren't you happy to be staying with me? 2. Xuan was speechless. She wondered if Li Yan's Prince Charming was really Jiang Yi. Maybe it was Jiang Xuan instead. 2. The apartment had been well rated by previous tenants. There were 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom. There was a small balcony too, and everything was very clean and tidy. 2. We should celebrate our new cohabitation. Let's go eat. Li Yin dropped the luggage she had been tidying and looked at Jiang Xuan, who was still unpacking her bags. Li Yan's lips curled into a mean smile. 2. Xuan had just tidied up the bed sheets when she heard the word cohabitation leave Li Yan's lips. She couldn't help but stagger and stop what she was doing. After a long while, she turned to look at Li Yan. "Do you really like Jiang Yi, too?" It would have been fine if Xuan didn't mention Jiang Yi, but once she did, Li Yin became infuriated. "Let me tell you, Jiang Yi is mine. I have had my eyes on him since I was young, and he will be mine. Don't even think about trying to steal him." Why do you think I have to embarrass myself living with you? in such a small, crappy apartment. I'm keeping an eye on you. I will not let Jiang Yi meet you alone, too. In her life before the accident, Jiang Xuan had lots of classes as well as working every day. It had been hard for Jiang Yi to see her over the past 3 years. But somehow, Jiang Xuan was different now. This year, Xuan had fewer classes, and she even joined Li Yan's family's entertainment company. If Jiang Yi knew about that, he would probably come here every day to watch her. Li Yan knew that Jiang Yi would definitely have more opportunities to see Jiang Xuan in the future. Therefore, she had to take precautions and keep an eye on Xuan. Point 2. They were stuck together with some strong glue. Point 2. The thought of teasing Li Yan danced enticingly in Xuan's mind. She leaned forward, her smile reaching the corners of her eyes, and she said, "I just feel like you have true love for me. Why don't you throw away Jiang Yi and make do with me, too?" Li Yan had heard the term lesbian before. There had been many female idols who were gossiped about for being lesbians. She looked at Jiang Xuan in horror. That definitely was not her, too. Li Yan didn't even need to think about it. Jiang Yi was such a good person. He was rich, handsome, studious, good at basketball and swimming. He was simply a real-life Prince Charming. He had chased Jiang Xuan for 3 years, and she had remained unmoved. Li Yan had never heard of Jiang Xuan having an affair with any boy, especially not Jiang Yi. And last time, when Jiang Xuan met her brother, he was quite simply a quality man, the kind that was rarely seen in 100 years. But Jiang Xuan showed no reaction when she saw him, too. You can't be. Li Yan thought about her own incredible beauty and stammered in fear. "I want to go home, too." Miss Li Yan called her brother, Li Zhan. "Brother, you have to come to my apartment. I'm scared, too." Xuan rolled her eyes. Point 2. Li Yan looked at Xuan as if she was carrying the world's deadliest virus. Point 2. Xuan observed Li Yan's expression. She had held her laughter in for a long time, but now she laughed until she was out of breath. "Li Yan, your imagination is really rich. It's a pity that you don't want to be a screenwriter, too." Li Yan snapped out of her stupidity for a second. "How do you know that I want to be a screenwriter?" "Wait a minute. You're the one with the rich imagination, too." Xuan sighed. Point 2. Miss Li Yan was truly full of herself. Point 2. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk 2. Over at the company building, Li Zhan, who was working overtime, received a call. He held his forehead and looked at Wu Yang, who was forced to work overtime with him. He didn't even know where to start with Li Yan. "Go and see what's happening at her apartment," Li Zhan said to Wu Yang. Point 2. Wu Yang pulled a face. "Didn't I just come back? Do I really have to go again? What is she up to this time? That girl does not stop, too." Li Zhan rubbed his temple with his finger and thumb. He hated the thought of sending Wu Yang to deal with Li Yan on his behalf. He sighed, placed the documents he was holding back into their folder, and stood up. "Let's get off work, too." Qin Shui apartment was very close to Sky Shadow Media Company, only a 5-minute drive. Li Zhan and Wu Yang arrived very quickly at their destination. Point 2. Wu Yang lived in Qin Shui's apartment building A, but he lived on the 15th floor, and Li Zhan had a temporary residence on the 22nd floor of the top floor. It was not often that Li Zhan stayed there, but he had his own suite regardless. Point 2. The two of them soon arrived at room number 1 on the 8th floor. Point 2. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk 2. When Li Yan heard the doorbell ring, she knew that her brother was here. She didn't bother to argue with Xuan any longer and immediately ran to open the door. Point 2. The figures of Li Zhan and Wu Yang appeared in the girl's line of sight. Point 2. Xuan turned her head and was greeted by Li Zhan's cold and distant eyes, staring at her. Point 2. "What's going on, too?" "Nothing." Li Yan looked at Xuan. Regardless of whether what she said before was fake, she could not deny that Xuan was beautiful. "What if, too?" Li Zhan followed Li Yan's gaze to Xuan. He only glanced and looked away quickly before saying, "Since there's nothing going on, I'll be leaving, too." "Hey, wait a minute." Li Yan hugged Li Zhan's arm, afraid that her brother would leave right away, but she couldn't say anything. She glared at Wu Yang. Point 2. Wu Yang thought that Li Yan really knew how to shoot a man when he's down. Point 2. Wu Yang smiled at Xuan. "It's getting late. Have you eaten dinner, too?" Yes. I was just going to eat." Li Yan cut in, nodding. Brother, we should celebrate the new year. Hurry up and treat me to a big meal. 2. Li Jian was speechless. Point 2. Xuan rolled her eyes. Point 2. Wu Yang broke the silence. Li Yin, do you even understand what the word please means? 2. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk 2. The taste of eating with the boss was really something, especially when the dinner guest sat across the table from them was a boss with a cold temperament. 2. Xuan looked at the plates of exquisite food in front of her and instantly felt like she couldn't eat. It wasn't that she hadn't eaten with the big shots before. She had drunk coffee with celebrities and producers on many occasions. Point 2. But for some reason, the man in front of her made her feel pressured. Point 2. Xuan couldn't eat, and it appeared that Li Yin couldn't either. Ever since Xuan teased her, she had been looking at Xuan, trying to read her mind. Point 2. But the more she stared at Xuan, the more Li Yan's heart palpitated. Point 2. Look at her brother. He was such an outstanding person, the fairy-like figure described in old stories. None of that mattered. Jiang Xuan didn't even look at him. 2. Li Yan thought about her brother. She couldn't put her finger on it. He seemed so, too. She looked over at Wu Yang, too. Li Yan seemed to have opened the door to a new world. All of a sudden, she felt bad. Her gaze switched between her brother and Jiang Xuan like a radar, constantly shooting at both of them. Point 2. Li Yan gritted her teeth. Brother, it would appear that you and Xuan like the same food. 2. Xuan and Li Jian both looked at Li Yan. Point 2. Wu Yang cringed. I can't bear to watch this. What are you doing, young lady? Li Yan shot Wu Yang a quizzical look. Point 2. I just realized that the two of you are quite compatible. Really, too. Xuan couldn't believe it. A few days ago, Li Yan had been warning her not to think about her brother. Why would she suddenly change her tone? 2. Li Jian cleared his throat. The dishes are getting cold. 2. His casual tone, his cold gaze. 2. Li Yan gritted her teeth. Point 2. She sobbed inside. What should I do? She thought. It seems as if my brother really is that way inclined. 2. Feeling guilty, Li Yan logged onto Weibo. She tapped the screen to post her first entry. My brother is 27 years old, extremely handsome, but he hasn't had a girlfriend since he was young. The more I look at him, the more I wonder if he's gay. What should I do? My roommate, I'll call her Jay, is a super beautiful woman. For the past 3 years at university, she's turned a blind eye to the campus hunk. She doesn't have a boyfriend either, but she's told me that she really likes me. What should I do? Emergency, too. She accompanied the text with a photo of her brother and Jiang Xuan's hands holding a bowl of vegetables at the same time. Point 2. The only problem was that no one responded, not even a zombie fan. It fell like a stone into a pool, and with a clang, but with no splash. However, it was going to cause a huge uproar in the future, but that story is for later, too. The meal only lasted for an hour, but every second was torturous. Point 2. Li Jian's slender hand wiped his lips with a wet towel. Under the orange light, his crimson lips were unusually bright and beautiful. Point 2. Strangely, Xuan thought of the kiss she forced upon a stranger at the start of her life in this body. Point 2. Crazy. After paying the bill, he sent the two of them back to the Qinshui apartment. Before he left, he pulled Xuan to one side. Li Yan has a spoiled personality. Please bear with her, too. Xuan came back to her senses. Her boss was talking to her. Okay, she replied. Point 2. Li Jian nodded abruptly and got back into the car. His black Mercedes soon drove out of view and into the night. Point 2. Li Jian arrived at the building early the next day to get a head start on work. Wu Yang arrived late. When he saw that Li Jian was already working in his office, he could not help but shake his head and sigh. Boss, I've never seen a workaholic like you. He was not the type of boss to easily hand over all his important documents to his subordinates. He was carrying the money in his pocket and was looking for flowers himself. Point 2. But his own family, too. Well, this was for them, the poor little employees that worked diligently and busily. Point 2. Li Jian did not even raise his head. Wu Yang was bored. He looked at the time. 8:20 a.m., 10 minutes before work officially started. He placed a snack on the table, made a cup of boiling water, and started gossiping. Point 2. Boss, I'm just curious. Do you really need to sit here and read boring documents every day? He wasn't gay, nor did he look for girls to talk about love. He was truly a rare oddity in the world. Point two. Of course, Li Jian didn't respond. Feeling indignant, Wu Yang continued. Boss, don't tell me you haven't even had your first kiss? Wu Yang was sure that he hadn't made his debut in the bedroom. After all, Zheng Nuo was always calling his cousin a perverted old virgin. Now that he thought about it, he was probably right. He was not interested in men, and he wasn't interested in women. Maybe he was just a pervert. Point two. Li Jian raised his head to reveal an ugly expression. We will not talk about such things here, too. F***CK. Why not here? Wu Yang's eyes widened. Oh, who stole your first kiss? Can you tell me the story of you and your first girlfriend? Wu Yang span around in his chair. Point two. Are you complaining that I haven't assigned you enough work? Two. No. Wu Yang waved his hand in a hurry. He was stupid. He should have been thankful that he could gossip at all, and yet he still wanted to gossip about the boss. He was asking for death. He prayed that the boss would quickly gloss over the incident. Wu Yang stopped spinning in his chair. Point two. Asterisk. Two. After witnessing the 3 performances of Li Yin yesterday, the trainees were convinced on the surface, but their hearts were full of jealousy. Point two. Especially Huang Yu. During lunch, Shiwan ate on the 3rd floor as usual, while Zhou Liqing ate with Huang Yu on the 2nd floor. They finished eating quickly downstairs and went upstairs to wait for Shiwan. Point two. Huang Yu looked at the 4 dishes on Shiwan's table. There were 2 meat dishes, 1 vegetable dish, and 1 soup. Shiwan, do you have enough money to eat like this every day? She asked. Point two. Yes, too. So, you're a girl from a rich family? I really envy rich and beautiful people, too. Zhou Liqing frowned. Huang Yu, don't talk nonsense. She was puzzled. After all, she knew that Shiwan's family background was not good. So why did Shiwan always go to the 3rd floor to eat? If she ordered 4 dishes on the 2nd floor, the total would be less than 100 yuan. Point two. It seemed as if Huang Yu had thought of something. Her eyes darted around. She lowered her head, and then she whispered, by the way, I heard that Huang Ken was kept aside by the higher-ups. She's really amazing. It's only been a few days, and she's already found a big step up. When she debuts in the future, it will be smooth sailing for her. 2. Zhou Liqing was stunned. Shiwan kept her focus on eating her lunch. Point two. Huang Yu saw that Shiwan remained unmoved, so she continued. Also, isn't the director Chun Zai going to shoot a new movie? I've heard there's castings going on right now, she said. Apparently the higher-ups are going to put Huang Ken up for an audition, even though she's still a trainee. She sighed. We've both got the surname Huang, but we're really not on the same level. I could never do anything like that. If my parents found out, they'd definitely beat me to death with a stick. TSK. Only shameless people go down the dark path. 2. Shiwan looked at Huang Yu's twisted face and slowly finished the last mouthful of her soup. If you have enough time to talk about it, you have enough time to practice hard and get your own level up, too. Huang Yu understood the hidden meaning behind Shiwan's words. In her heart, she knew that Shiwan had indeed been down a dark path. Otherwise, why would she listen to Shiwan's mocking words? In her heart, she truly was disgusted with Shiwan, but when she spoke, her mouth seemed to have other ideas. Even if we have to go to the audition, it should be you. You're so good-looking and your acting skills are amazing. I heard that you and Miss Lee's both gave impromptu performances in your acting class. Teacher Tan said that your talent is the best she has ever seen. 2. Her words had a sarcastic tone to them. Point two. Oh, Shiwan got up. Let's go back to class. 2. Huang Yu wanted to say more, but she held herself back when she saw Shiwan's cold eyes. She panicked and lowered her head, holding on to Zhou Liqing's arm. Point two. Asterisk. 2. Almost all the trainees knew that Huang Ken had hooked up with one of the company's higher-ups a week later. Point two. Compared to the few trainees who were quick-witted and knew how to deal with Huang Ken's sarcasm, most of the student population were secretly really jealous. After all, even if Huang Ken didn't cling to the company's higher-ups, she was still one of their main targets for training. Point two. They were all scared because they didn't know who among them would get to debut. It was stupid to provoke Huang Ken when she would be making a debut regardless, even if she didn't have an unspoken arrangement in place. Then there was the boss's sister, and Jiang Shiwan with her angelic face. How could anyone else stand out? A lot of people were clear about the details of the situation, but there were also a few who remained unclear, and Huang Yu was one of them. This kind of gossiping was not uncommon for the trainees. In just a few days, almost all the trainees knew about what was going on. Huang Yu, despite not knowing all the details, could be said to have contributed a lot to the gossip point too. She complained to Zhou Liqing again, "Hey, what do you think Jiang Shiwan is thinking, too?" Zhou Liqing was watching the performances of the other groups on the stage. She was taking it very seriously. After all, she was not yet a professional like some people point to. What? Zhou Liqing only picked up the word Shiwan point two. Huang Yu rolled her eyes and said, "I noticed that you and Shiwan haven't been very close lately. Did you guys have a fight, too?" Zhou Liqing felt a little uncomfortable. "What? We're fine, too." "Really?" "Because I found out that she's been having lunch with Miss Lee on the third floor for the past 2 days now, too." A schedule change meant that the two batches of trainees now had their meals at different times. Those considered at a higher level had their meals 20 minutes later, so Zhou Liqing and Shiwan could no longer go to the hotel cafeteria across the street together. Point two. "Oh, that's just because our lunch times are different now," she reminded Huang Yu. "Besides, Li Yan is her roommate now. Why shouldn't they eat together?" Zhou Liqing replied. Point two. Huang Yu continued, "Right? Do you think she's fair, rich, and beautiful? She eats on the third floor every day, and her daily expenses must be more than 100 yuan. Her monthly food expenses must be at least 3,000 yuan, too." Zhou Liqing turned her head to look at Huang Yu. "Don't ask me these questions," she snapped. Although she didn't agree with Shiwan's extravagance, which was very different from her usual self, it was still her private matter that was no one else's business. Point two. Seeing that Zhou Liqing was not going to speak more on the matter, Huang Yu simply said to herself, "Of course, if she eats with Miss Lee, she can hardly be disadvantaged, too. Shiwan isn't someone who likes to take advantage of others." Zhou Liqing retorted, "All right, listen to the lesson, too." After spending the past 2 days together, it was clear that Huang Yu was a person who liked to take advantage of others. She was also a little gossipy. There were some parts of her that they were very compatible with Zhou Liqing, but there were also some parts that, how would you best put it to? Zhou Liqing couldn't describe the strange feeling and would only shake her head. Then, she tried to put all of that out of her mind and focus on the teacher's performance. Point two. That's all for today's performance lesson. We'll see you tomorrow. The teacher was finishing up. "All right, Zhou Liqing, can you stay here for a while, too?" "Okay, too. Come with me for a moment, too." Asterisk, 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 too. "Do you know Xiao Yinzheng?" The teacher looked at Zhou Liqing, confusion apparent on her face. Point two. After thinking the name over, Zhou Liqing's eyes lit up. Point two. It had been more than 10 days since that night at the bar. During that time, although she had been thinking about when they wanted to shoot the female lead of Xiao Yinjing's music video, there had been no communication from them. With everything surprising and shocking that happened that night, she had thought that maybe it was just a fabricated dream. Point two. She truly didn't expect it, too. The surprise came too quickly. She was caught off guard. "Yes, I know him. I'm supposed to be the female lead for his new music video, too." The teacher nodded. "Yes, Xiao Yinjing's manager called the company's outreach department and asked about you specifically, saying you were to be the female lead for the MV. The company talked it over, and they decided to let you go ahead with it, too." Although the teacher said it calmly, the doubts in his heart were overwhelming. He had no idea that this girl, who clearly had zero foundations, had a backer. Was it so easy to get a part in a music video these days? Sigh. As expected, people in the entertainment industry should never be underestimated. Point two. Zhou Liqing nodded excitedly. "Thank you, teacher. Thank you, company, too." The teacher looked at Zhou Liqing for a long time. "This music video is a very good accumulation of acting experience for you. You should go back and study the lessons I have been teaching." Although the performance of a music video can't be compared to the performance of a movie or TV series, it's not easy at all. You have to be serious, too. "Yes, teacher, too." When you arrive at the company tomorrow, you'll be taken to the filming location. The filming time of the video itself shouldn't take long, so you will still have to come back to class after you finish. You'll have to work harder when you're outside the company. After all, You don't have any acting experience, and you have yet to really begin classes. I looked at the register, and you've actually missed a few classes, too. Asterisk, 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 too. Zhou Liqing ran out happily and saw that Huang Yu was waiting for her at the door. Point two. Ah, you're still waiting for me, too. Yeah, we all live in the same dormitory after all, too. Zhou Liqing nodded. What's up? You look so happy, too. I'm going to... Zhou Liqing began before she was cut off by someone calling her name. Point two. Liqing, haven't you gone back to the dorm yet, too? Zhou Liqing turned her head and saw Xiwan and Li Yin standing at the corner of the corridor. Hey Xiwan, have you guys been let out early today? Zhou Liqing greeted the two girls. Point two. Xiwan nodded. Point two. Liqing, you haven't told me why you're so happy yet. Huang Yu hadn't got her answer, so she urged her new friend again. Point two. All right, I'm going to shoot a music video, too. What? Huang Yu looked at Zhou Liqing in disbelief. You're seriously going to shoot a music video, too? Li Yin curled her lips. Tisk, just look at the little thing, smiling like a spring flower. You've never seen the world. People who don't know would think that you're the naive female lead in some big production movie, too. After Zhou Liqing found out about who Li Yin was related to, she didn't dare to argue with her anymore. When she heard the Yin say this, though, it still made her feel uncomfortable. It's not an ordinary music video. It's for the idol Xiao Yinzheng, too. After Zhou Liqing said that she was going to be the female lead in Xiao Yinzheng's music video, a hint of jealousy flashed across Huang Yu's face. She composed herself and gave a sweet smile. Really? That's great. Congratulations, too. Li Yin looked at Zhou Liqing in surprise. You too. Why can't I too? Who did you have to sleep with, too? Bah, you're AF asterisk king young lady. Why do you have to speak so harshly, too? Whatever. You're just an ordinary-looking person with no background. Face it, you're invisible. You suddenly caught a big pie, and you don't even allow me to doubt it for 1 second. Too. You don't think I could have incredible luck, too? This is an opportunity for Liqing. There's no secrets. Xiwan was trying her best to explain, but the two girls in front were getting more and more aggressive. Point two. How do you know, too? Xiwan explained in detail. Point two. Li Yin looked at Zhou Liqing as Xiwan told the story. Zhou Liqing gave off the aura of a peacock spreading its tail. Consider it a misunderstanding and take my apologies, but Li Yin said, looking Zhou Liqing up and down. You will only ever be lucky, too. Zhou Liqing took Li Yan's apology without pursuing the matter further. She was very happy, so she invited Xiwan for dinner that night. She even invited Li Yin, who was still standing next to her. She waved her hand. She had decided that everyone could come. Point two. Li Yin didn't want to follow her, but the house would be empty without Xiwan there, so she went with them. When they arrived at a small restaurant, Li Yin looked at Zhou Liqing in disbelief. People eat here, too. Can't you see the large crowd around you looking at how your eyes pop out of your head? You still feel disgusted when I invite you to eat. Zhou Liqing pouted. Point two. Huang Yu quickly said, Li Yin, I'm sorry. Qing is just a quick talker. There's nothing special about her. Too. Li Yin rolled her eyes. You're telling me, too. Xiwan looked at Huang Yu scurrying up and down like a clown, then looked at Zhou Liqing, who was happily flipping through the menu. She wanted to shake Zhou Liqing by the shoulders and remind her which people she should befriend and which people she should stay away from. She decided to forget about it. For now. Point two. For one thing, she didn't believe that intimate friendship existed in the world anymore. More than 10 years of deep friendship could turn and slice a person like a sharp sword. The blink of an eye, someone can betray another and stab them in the heart. What else was there to believe? Perhaps it was true that after being bitten by a snake, Xiwan was afraid of the rope. Point two. Secondly, although Zhou Liqing was still relatively innocent, even if it was not intentional, she had already made a choice between her good friend and her new friend with her previous actions. It did not matter to say that she, Jiang Xiwan, was being pretentious. People really had to protect themselves. Point two. Thirdly, Zhou Liqing was not young anymore. If she still wanted to work in the entertainment industry, she had to grow up and learn how to distinguish people's characters. The only way she was going to learn was through experience. Point two. Zhou Liqing originally planned to order 7 dishes for the 4 girls. If she ordered too many, they would not be able to finish them all, but 2. Lian was here. Therefore, under Lian's strong request, the small table was filled with 13 different dishes. 2. Zhou Liqing felt her heart and her purse ache, but when she thought about how she was going to shoot a music video with an idol, she gritted her teeth and endured it. Point 2. During the meal, Huang Yu asked Lian many questions. Lian was quick to answer, but she wasn't happy about it. She said, "You're so annoying. You ask so many questions. Why don't you become a reporter so you can gossip instead of coming to our company to be a trainee?" 2. Huang Yu's big eyes were full of tears, which made Zhou Liqing very angry. She knew that this spoiled young lady should not have been invited, too. Lian ate the dishes in front of her with disdain, right up to the last bowl of soup. She tasted it. "It's not good," she said after drinking a few mouthfuls. "I've had much better." 2. Xuan slowly put down the bowl and chopsticks. Could it be that Miss Li's new skill is that her mouth is too upright? 2. Lian frowned. "What do you mean?" 2. Zhou Liqing explained cheerfully. "You say you don't like it, but your body is quite honest." She laughed. This was Xuan after all. If she did not speak, she would kill instead. "I love you so much," Zhou Liqing thought to herself. Point 2. Lian was angry. "Your words don't mean anything. It's very annoying, too." Likewise. As she said that, Xuan looked at her bowl of food and shrugged. Point 2. When Lian realized that she had already eaten 2 bowls of rice and many dishes, her face turned a deep red. Then she said, "Waiter, the bill." 2. Lian had already paid the bill before Zhou Liqing could react. "But I invited you," Zhou Liqing said. Point 2. Consider it a celebration for your debut. No need to thank me. Make more money for my family's company. 2. If I had known that earlier, I would have picked a much more expensive restaurant for dinner, too. They returned to the Qinshui apartments together and parted ways at Building A.2. Wu Yang was waiting for the elevator in the lobby of Building A. When he saw Xiwan and Lian coming over, he smiled. Miss Li always said that Jiang Xiwan was annoying, but she clearly liked following her around. Point 2. He nodded to the 2 of them as the elevator came down. He let the 2 of them go in first like a gentleman. Then he pressed 8 and 15 on the panel and said to the 2 of them, "Have the 2 you eaten dinner, too?" Lian nodded. "You just got off work, too?" Wu Yang nodded. "Your brother really is a workaholic. He's still busy at this hour, and as his chief secretary, I have to give my all too." 2. Although Xiwan didn't interrupt, she heard everything around her. So, people called the boss a workaholic. It seemed to be true. Point 2. If this continues, how am I going to be an aunt? Lian was really anxious. Although she hadn't been in a relationship before, she had a goal. But her brother on the other hand, too. When the elevator door opened, Lian didn't say goodbye to Wu Yang. She hurried out into the corridor as quickly as she could. Point 2. Xiwan nodded to Wu Yang. "Goodbye, too." Wu Yang nodded back. "See you tomorrow, too." Xiwan returned to the dormitory and heard Lian's voice. She was on the phone. "Mom, are you still busy with this, too?" "Aya." "Mom, rather than being busy, why don't you find a few reliable and beautiful sisters to help set up a blind date? He's already 27, too. I know you don't want to be a grandmother, but I want to be an aunt. Aren't parents very anxious about such things? Why aren't you anxious? Are you really our biological mother, too?" Xiwan coughed, unable to remain silent upon overhearing such a personal conversation. Point 2. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk 2. Zhang Yining smiled when she saw that she had a phone call incoming from her precious daughter. "Good evening, my precious," she said. Point 2. "Mommy, what are you doing?" 2. "Mommy is busy making little clothes for Lulu's newborn babies. It's very difficult work." Lulu was Lian's family's lapdog. She was old and ugly. Lian had never liked her, even though her mother adored her. Point 2. "Mommy, you're still busy with this, too? What's wrong, too?" "Aya." "Mom, rather than being busy with this, why don't you find a few reliable and beautiful sisters to arrange a blind date for him? He's already 27, too." "Oh dear, love between a man and a woman depends on fate. Your brother will find it himself, don't worry. Besides, your brother is only 27 years old, so there's no hurry. Mother doesn't want to be a grandmother at such a young age, too. I know you don't want to be a grandmother, but I want to be an aunt." Aren't parents very anxious about these things? Why you're not anxious? Are you really our biological mother? 2. Zheng Yining sighed. If I'm not, then you've been calling the wrong person mother all this time, too. Asterisk, 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 2. Xiwan was thoughtful. Point 2. Mother and daughter had parted on bad terms? Li Yin was fuming with anger. She looked at Jiang Xiwan, who was sitting on the sofa with her face mask on, and thought for a long time. Point 2. Jiang Xiwan, why aren't you in a relationship, too? Xiwan hadn't expected Li Yin to suddenly ask this question, so she casually replied, I'm still young, too. Li Yin said nothing. Point 2. I want to enter the entertainment industry, too. Li Yin remained silent. Point 2. Then, Xiwan thought that Li Yin might be looking for the reason why her brother wasn't in a relationship. So she said, and I haven't found the right person. 2. Li Yin sighed. Maybe my brother is the same. I'm glad that I was able to find the right person so early. 2. So what if I found the right person too? You're not in a relationship yet. 2. F asterisk CK, Jiang Xiwan, who possessed you? 2. Xiwan was shocked and thought to herself, you guessed it right too. Guess too. I see your mouth is getting more and more poisonous. Li Yin walked over and saw a fresh mask lying on the table. She picked it up and put it on. Point 2. Chun Zige is going to shoot a new movie. 2. Oh, 2. Are you going to be the female lead? 2. 2. I know my mother. She called me a long time ago and asked me to be the female lead. 2. Why not, 2? I don't want to go. I already have a background, and I have my own free will, too. Xiwan stared at the young lady in front of her. Point 2. I really want to kill this girl. She thought. Point 2. If you want the role, I will help you. Li Yin stared back at Xiwan. Point 2. What are the conditions? There was no such thing as free lunch in this world. Why would Li Yin, who was basically her enemy, suddenly want to give her a big cake? It didn't sound right. Point 2. TSK, you think you're so smart. Li Yin wagged her finger at Xiwan. Point 2. I want you to seduce my brother, too. It was fortunate that Xiwan wasn't drinking anything. She would definitely have spat it out. Li Yin, I wouldn't say that if I were you. The movie has already been canceled. 2. Do you have so little confidence in yourself? 2. I don't have confidence in your brother. 2. As long as you seduce my brother, I'll pave your way in the entertainment industry in the future. And by that, I mean I'll only pave it for you for 3 years. Anyway, I think that 3 years is enough time for you to become famous, right? 2. Xiwan's eyes lit up. Although she had already planned to use her acting skills to return to her former career path, she knew the entertainment industry wouldn't be easy to advance through, even if she was as beautiful as a flower. Point 2. In this industry, there were far more than one beautiful person. Lin Xia, Wang Xian, Zheng Yining, of course, herself, Jiang Xiwan, and now there was Li Yin too. No one was going to turn around and give her everything. To those in charge, she was practically invisible. She was going to have to put the work in. Point 2. Unless you were like Zhao Ziyan, guaranteed to be popular all over the country and attract countless fans. With the fans as a good foundation, then there was still a possibility that you could successfully branch into mainstream success without relying on unspoken contracts. But that was a question of luck more than determination. Point 2. Then what if I don't succeed with you, brother? 2. Li Yin pouted. You just have to do it. The conditions won't change, too. AI, don't you hate me very much? And didn't you warn me to stay away from your brother in the beginning? Besides, are you afraid that after I date your brother, I'll become your sister-in-law, too? Li Yin suddenly remembered. Yeah, why would I want it to be you? I hate you. F asterisk CK. I don't want you to be my sister-in-law, too. Xiwan rolled her eyes. Point 2. Let's sign an agreement. You go after my brother, and I'll pave the way for you. After you get him, you can dump him. I just need to know whether my brother likes men or women. And as long as he likes women, he can find other women after he breaks up with you. The more Li Yin spoke, the more she began to believe in her idea. By the end of her speech, she couldn't help but nod repeatedly. Point 2. Xiwan was stunned. Point 2. Are you in, too? She thought for a moment. Yes, too. 2 copies were made of the agreement. After signing it, Li Yin's feelings towards Jiang Xiwan improved. She felt that she was more beautiful and smart, and she found Xiwan more pleasing to the eye. Point 2. Lian logged into her Weibo and posted her second Weibo message. 2. I'm so happy. I did a very awesome thing today. I feel that I'm really beautiful and smart. In the attached photo, all of the details of the contract had been removed. Only the date and their surnames, Jiang and Li, could be clearly seen in the picture. Point 2. Of course, because she had not posted much before, it looked like a troll post. Naturally, not a single comment was left. Point 2. She refreshed the trending headlines for a while, mostly focusing on the entertainment headlines, and then complained to herself, he's so ugly, yet he hogs the trending headlines every day. Weibo is so annoying. After that, she left a comment. He's so ugly, yet he stirs up everyone's attention every day, too. Of course, she was swiftly attacked by a group of fans. Point 2. Fan A. Ugly freak. If you could do better, then go ahead, too. Fan B. You troll. Did you buy a sanitary pad with 50 cents, too? Fan C. Hell, little SL asterisk T. You're ugly and came over to criticize others. It's obvious that it's coming from someone from a poor, unhappy family. 2. Lian looked at the comments and spat. Are these people blind? They're attacking me for telling the truth? OF asterisk CK. An internet troll with 50 cents? Please, 2. She replied to them 1 by 1.2. Reply A. I'm ugly? Well, this is the first time I'm hearing of it, 2. Reply B. I can smash you to death with a bag of 50 cents if you want to. Reply C. Haven't you ever seen such a fair, rich, and beautiful woman who likes to tell the truth? TSK. Your family background is indeed poor and your knowledge is low. 2. Seriously, it's like people aren't even allowed to tell the truth these days. 2. Shiwan saw her serious face and typed on the screen, You're still on Weibo? She remembered that after the last hot incident, Zhou Liqing said, Lian doesn't have Weibo, only Facebook. All her fans are coming to me. I'll post a selfie, and they either ask if I have a picture of you or if I have a picture of Lian, but few say that I'm beautiful. This beauty-focused world is simply too much for me. 2. You don't want to play? 2. I don't want to play. Just sign up. 2. I don't want to. It was a gathering place for idiots. It is so fun. Just sign up and let's follow each other. As she spoke, she took out her Weibo. Shiwan took a glance and saw the ID on it. Madame Jiang, who wants to be a screenwriter. Her mind couldn't help but ring. How did you know that I want to be a screenwriter? Jiang is my type. I have liked him since he was young. She then looked at her comments and replies. Shiwan. Under Lian's repeated requests, Shiwan had no choice but to sign up for a Weibo account and then follow her. Finally, I have a live fan. Lian sighed. Shiwan. After talking for so long, just for a fan? Miss, you could spend 2 yuan to buy 1,000. Looking at the 2 Weibo posts on Lian's account, Shiwan felt thunder rolling. Can you delete your first post? I'm not gay, and I believe your brother isn't either. Lian looked at it and blushed. I won't delete it. I'm not used to it. Moreover, looking at the Weibo photo now, she realized that the picture of her brother's hand and Jiang Shiwan's hand holding a bowl of vegetables together was pretty good. Her photography skills were really getting better and better. Shiwan's ID was sunset not too late, and her profile picture was a picture of a burning cloud. Weibo 0, follow 1, fan 2. Why don't you put your own profile picture and put a picture of the scenery? Those who were used to Facebook knew that most of the profile pictures were of their own faces, so when they came to Weibo, Lian still used her own profile picture as her profile picture on Weibo. Just when she was called ugly, Lian quickly changed her profile picture to her selfie. Change it next time. Seeing that her followers were still 0, Shiwan simply started to follow. First, she added all her friends in the circle, then her roommate's Weibo, and then, does her brother use Weibo? Lian patted her thigh with her small hand. He's really dedicated, as expected of someone who wants to be an actress. Shiwan, do you have any? Yes. Search for Li Zhan's V. He actually has 2 million fans. Thinking that she was still 2, Lian instantly felt disheartened. Shiwan searched and indeed found such a Weibo. It was verified to be the CEO of Sky Shadow Media. The profile picture of the Weibo was a picture of a pug. Shiwan followed it for a while and then looked at the Weibo on it. There were more than 100 Weibo posts in total, and each post was forwarded to Weibo, and most of them were 1 or 2 posts per month. Li Zhan's Weibo had a few thousand comments at the beginning, then it had a few hundred. These hundreds of comments had a lot of time gaps, and then it had a few dozen. Most of them were still emoticons. It couldn't be compared to her main account, Jiang Shuan. A minute after she posted a Weibo message, there were thousands of comments. Tens of thousands in an hour, 100,000 in a day, dominating the hot topics. She won. Li Yin saw 11 Wan's expressionless face. Isn't it boring? It's all financial news. I can't even be bothered to follow him. No, I should follow brother. Then, Li Yin followed Li Zhan. She refreshed her homepage. The latest one was about Li Zhan's retweet of an economic Weibo message. Shi didn't expect Li Zhan to be on Weibo today. Then, she thought of the agreement she had just signed with Li Yin. She immediately opened the comment. Sofa. Ding dong. Shi saw the word one and opened it. Li Zhan replied. Smile. Shi Oh, boss replied online what was going on. She had just looked at his Weibo, and the comments below were all cold and unresponsive. This was because she realized that she had too few comments on Weibo and knew that she should not continue being cold. So, she started to reply people to increase her activity. Lian was scrolling through her brother's Weibo and naturally saw it too. She also replied, Brother, you actually started to reply people? Not long after, Li Zhan directly followed Li Yan's account and privately messaged Li Yan, the ID is so ugly. Li Yan was in the dormitory. F***, my brother followed me and even said that my ID is so ugly. But wait, how does he know who I am? Shiwan, your brother is right. Didn't you use your profile picture to make a Weibo post? Besides, with that ID of yours, if your brother didn't recognize you, how did he manage Sky's shadow to be so big? Shiwan knew that Li Zhan graduated from Stanford's finance department with a master's degree. But Li Yin, these two brothers and sisters are not on the same level of intelligence. That's true. Wait, I'll get my brother to watch you too. Not long after, 11 Wan's only 3 fans, there appeared a fan of 2 million Big V. Shiwan suddenly a little flattered. Think of her tuba. The fans are more orange Big V. Some people she did not pay attention to, but never this fan came to fan or pressure ah. After some thought, she sent a private message to Li Zhan. Hello, boss. Nothing. 1 minute. 2 minutes. 5 minutes. Nothing. Well, cold boss reply small transparent also depends on mood. Not to mention reply you once. How can instant come second time? Jiang Shiwan? I just took a shower. Sorry. Shiwan? Oh, boss continues to reply, and that's a lot of words. That's more than he said to her at dinner last time we met. Are you chatting with my brother? Lian decided not to check her Weibo and ran over to see how things were going. Not bad. My brother actually guessed who you are. I just told her that you're my good friend and a fan of his. Shiwan, when did I become your good friend? I don't mind these details. Lian waved her hand and stared at the screen on Shiwan. But my brother actually guessed who you are. Maybe it has something to do with my ID. Shiwan was also Shiwan. Looking at Li Zhan's reply, his cold and distant face appeared in her mind. Shiwan actually did not know how to reply for a moment. Actually, agreeing to Li Yan's pursuit of Li Zhan was also a temporary measure. After all, the entertainment industry was not that easy to survive in. With a backer, she did not have to sell her body. It was better than going alone. Moreover, whether or not she could catch up was another matter. Time ticked by. In the end, she only replied with a smiling emoji in private messages. Then, there was no then. Boss did not reply again. Shiwan also went to check her Weibo, which was rare. The Weibo of the popular comedian might still be a little funny. As for the cute acts of some artistes, Shiwan really could not stand it. This Soon Wan Yu is so shameless. She hasn't even gotten married yet, and is already showing off her stomach. Shiwan scrolled down and saw it too. This was a Weibo post that was released an hour ago. It instantly shot up to the 9th place in the 24-hour ranking. Today, I went to the hospital for a pregnancy test with my dear. The sunshine is so good, and my life is so good. P.S. The baby can move when it sticks out its tongue. 2 photos, one was of her backlit side, and her belly was bulging. The other was a close-up photo of her and the man holding hands. The photo was very artistic. It was her usual style. The comments below were all the same. Goddess, I wish you happiness. Goddess, you are so beautiful. Goddess, congratulations. Goddess, I love you. That hand, Lin Shi's. Shiwan stared at the two photos with her eyes red. A child, he. Once, she was also pregnant. When she asked him tentatively if he wanted it, he said that it was still early and that he still wanted to enjoy the two of them. She did not go to abort it because at that time, she loved him and wanted to give birth to the baby. She had the financial strength to raise it anyway. But in the end, it was gone. Because later, he found out, and his ultimate mother also found out. At that time, she still did not know why Lin Shi and his ultimate mother would know. His ultimate mother ran to her and pushed her. You're not qualified to give birth to our Lin family's child. Then, she fell blood flowed all over the ground. The child was gone. Now that she thought about it, the mystery answer that had troubled her for so many years finally surfaced. Oh, Sun Wanyu, it's you again. Yes, at that time, she did not tell Lin Shi. She was a fool. She treated Sun Wanyu like a tree hole and told her everything. No wonder she hid her pregnancy test so well, but Lin Shi still got it. My life, my baby's life, how can I return it? Shiwan's fingers drew on the screen. What should she do? These two B** cheese. The B* cheese. Are they going to work together to maintain world peace? She scrolled through Weibo again and saw the Weibo of a familiar person. Zheng Mingri. The B* stars are invincible. The comments below were, Idol, what happened to you, Idol? What B* star did you meet, Idol? Tell us the name of the B* stars, and we will help you beat her death. Then, Xiao Yinzheng also forwarded this Weibo. Mingri, what's wrong? Zheng Mingri forwarded a reply. I was disgusted by someone. I ridiculed it and sent a smile. Haha, it's actually nothing, as long as it knows it. I just hope that it'll stop when it's good and don't force me. Then, although the circle of friends were confused, they still comforted Zheng Mingri. Don't bother about such a terrible thing. You're so popular, it's probably trying to take advantage of your popularity. The fans displayed their Sherlock Holmes-level IQ and made all kinds of guesses. If they were not careful, all the male artistes who had once quarreled with Zheng Mingri would be implicated. Zheng Mingri was really Shiwan's good friend in the circle, or else she would not have introduced him to Sun Wanyu as her boyfriend. It was just that she did not expect Sun Wanyu not only to betray her, but also to betray him. Zheng Mingri's looks and bearing were not inferior to Lin Shi's. Yet Sun Wanyu could be so cruel, so confident, and even flaunt her love for Lin Xian Weibo. Did she really think that Jiang Shiwan's death would bury all the dirty things she had done? It was rare that Shiwan went up and left a message. If she was cheap, she could be cheap, but there would always be someone to take care of her. Don't worry, flowers will bloom everywhere. Smile. Ding dong. Shiwan received a comment. Thank you for your smile, from Zheng Mingri V. Because Shiwan was replied by Zheng Mingri, Shiwan's comment was liked by countless fans and pushed to the top of the comments. Then, a wave of Zheng Mingri's fans rushed over. Unfortunately, Shiwan's Weibo was registered today, so she did not post a single Weibo message, so there was no place for them to leave a message. You have been turned by the Prince Charming. However, Shiwan's Weibo had many more fans. The attentive fans saw Shiwan's comment, and their eyes lit up. The sons, this fan is talking about her, and our boss even replied. This means that this bitch is a woman. F***CK, which bitch wants to hug a thigh? Hence, the fans were originally looking for male artistes to make their boss so angry. Now, they were all staring at female artistes. One by one, from Chun Penny to Zhang Zi. In short, those who were not married were all guests, except for Sun Wanyu. Zheng Mingri comforted them from below. Oh my, cute sons, thank you for your comfort. No one is fine now. Don't make wild guesses. The matter was settled. F***CK, my brother saw my first Weibo. F***CK, F***CK. Alright, there's also my second Weibo. Just as Li Yin was screaming, Shiwan was also shocked. It's okay, it's okay. The second Weibo contract has all been marked. I'm so F***king smart. Li Yin wiped her sweat and then looked at the first Weibo post nervously. Xuan also went over and saw that Li Yan's first Weibo post only had one comment. Li Zhan V. Hee hee. Li Yin pretended to be dead and did not reply. ZZ. Sure enough, her phone rang. My brother, Li Yin said to Xiwan in a voice that was about to cry. Answer it. Xiwan smiled. Li Yan's expression was a little tragic. She swiped the screen and threw the phone into Xiwan's hand, as if she was throwing away a hot potato. She was not afraid of falling to the ground. Xiwan was stunned for a moment. Li Yin turned around and scanned the freshly made contract in front of Xiwan twice. The threat on her face was self-evident. Xiwan. Hello. Jiang Xiwan. There was a long silence before a deep voice reached Xiwan's ears. Good evening, boss. Okay. There seemed to be only the sound of each other's breathing, and the atmosphere was a little awkward. Xiwan glared at Li Yin. Li Yin turned her head away and went straight to her room. Tell her to call me on her own. Okay. Then, do. The call ended. Xiwan. Li Yin took a packet of biscuits and came out again. What did my brother say? Tell you to call him yourself. Xiwan got up and planned to wash up and go to bed. Li Yin. The autumn rain in City B was pitter-patter. The temperature suddenly dropped to 15 degrees Celsius. The temperature suddenly dropped. Naturally, many people caught a cold. Xiwan got up early in the morning and saw that Li Yin was sneezing nonstop. Both her eyes and nose were red. The two of them brought their companions downstairs. As usual, they saw Wu Yang in the elevator. Brother Wu, good morning. After meeting for so many days, Xiwan and this chief secretary had become familiar with each other. When she remembered that this person was Li Zhan's right-hand man and wanted to fulfill the agreement between her and Li Yin, she naturally had to start with the people around Li Zhan. Therefore, Xiwan, who usually didn't take the initiative to greet Xiwan, was the first to greet Xiwan today. Wu Yang was slightly flattered. Good morning. Then, he saw Li Yin, who had a cold. Has Xiaoyan caught a cold? Oh, Brother Wu. Wu Yang frowned. Wait for me. Then, he went to the pharmacy next door and bought some medicine and a few steam buns. He handed them to Li Yin and 11-1 respectively. Here, medicine and breakfast. The two of them thanked each other and then took Wu Yang's car to the company. It's really cold today. Fortunately, Brother Wu drives. I've decided that I'll take your car when I go back in the future. Wu Yang. Tell your brother not to work overtime. It's definitely not a problem. Li Yin. Forget it, I'll drive myself. Forget it, road killer. Wu Yang did not hold back at all. Xiwan asked, Boss works overtime every day? Yes. His interests? Yes, his interests. Wu Yang smacked his lips, right, Xiaoyan? Your brother hardly goes out to play on weekends. He only knows how to work and earn money. Yes, boss doesn't like beauties, but he loves money. Besides, boss looks so fresh and bright. He actually has such a vulgar hobby. Who doesn't love money? Xiwan smiled. As long as there's a way to take it, what's wrong with loving money? Wu Yang smiled. Yes, but there are too few people in this world who understand this. Smuggling, trafficking in drugs, human trafficking, cheating, gathering people to gamble, all sorts of evil things were happening. How many people were blinded by money? Xiwan nodded. The car parked in the underground parking lot. Beside it was a black Mercedes. Xiwan knew it. After all, she had been in it twice. TSK, the workaholic boss has arrived. During the fitness class, Xiwan pressed her waist while thinking. A girl walked over from his side. Jiang Xiwan, I heard that your good friend Zhou Liqing is going to shoot Xiao Yinjing's MV. Xiwan looked up at her. It was Su Xiao. Yes. Oh, she's pretty amazing. I heard that you went to the bar together. Why did she choose her over you? Su Xiao narrowed her eyes slightly. I'm telling you, if you want to enter the entertainment industry, you should be more careful. Don't believe in the ridiculous friendship between little girls anymore. Oh. Then, she continued to press her waist and ignored Su Xiao. Su Xiao curled her lips and then bent down. Don't doubt me. I've been there before. Clap, clap, clap. The physical education teacher clapped his hands and asked everyone to gather. Everyone's body flexibility is pretty good now. I'm very satisfied. It's been hard on everyone this month. Here, let me say something. Recently, when everyone was practicing, they were a little impatient. I know that everyone must have heard that some of the trainees who entered the same batch as you guys are already preparing to debut. That's because they were lucky. But what are you afraid of? Afraid that you won't be able to debut? You have to know that you guys are the company's chosen focus to nurture you. Other than being useless and unable to help yourself, what else is there to worry about? However, it's only a matter of time before you become impatient. If you can't train your foundation well, the gains won't make up for the losses. Everyone nodded. As long as you are good seedlings, the company will nurture you. So, don't let down the company's expectations. Before you debut, prepare well and enjoy the freedom before you become famous. Really, after you become famous, you won't be so free. Everyone nodded again. Jiang Xuan, Lian, the two of you, go to office 407 on the 4th floor at noon to look for Manager Bai. Okay. Office of Manager Bai on the 4th floor. Wan and Lian stood together and looked at the seemingly simple and honest Manager Bai in front of them. Manager Bai's eyes were filled with amazement, and he kept nodding. His chubby face became excited and turned red. The two of you are very good. After the joint recommendation of many teachers, you can debut ahead of time. Wan blinked and looked at Lian. Lian waved her hand. It's not me. But that's normal. With your performance, I feel that none of the teachers can teach you. It's a waste of the company's resources. It's better for you to debut earlier and earn money for my family. As for me, I'm so outstanding. It's possible for me to be chosen to debut ahead of time. Ha ha. My brother still looks down on me. Look, it's not like I'm going ahead of time. Ha ha ha. Later, we'll go to his place to gloat. You go too. Wan. Manager Bai only realized later. So, with the eldest miss, Lian. Therefore, she was dragged by Lian to the top floor of the company, the boss's office. The office was very big. It was divided into 3 cubicles and a large cubicle. There were 7 or 8 secretaries, both male and female, who were working hard with their heads lowered. When they saw Lian and Jiang Xuan arrive, their eyes lit up. They nodded, lowered their heads, and continued working. Their quality was really not bad. Further in was the 2nd cubicle, Wu Yang's office. He saw Wan and Lian. Why are you guys up here? Lian pouted. To see my brother. Further in, the 3rd office was where the boss was. It had to be said that in this place, it was no wonder that when she was an artiste, she often heard artistes from Sky Shadow complain about not being able to see the boss. This boss, who came out early and came back late, and worked in the office every day, if you didn't specially come up, it would be really hard to see him. Li Zhan raised his head and saw his own sister and Jiang Xuan coming to his office. He couldn't help but frown. Why are you up here? Lian shook the contract in her hand. No. I've officially signed a contract. You can give Sister A to me. Sister A was Tianying's first-line manager. Li Zhan looked at Jiang Xuan. You too. Huh? Xuan was still in a daze when she heard the boss's question. I don't want to be her manager. I want to compete with her in terms of popularity. It's hard for a manager to handle. Li Zhan. Wan. Lian said, let Yellow Sea take care of Jiang Xuan. Li Zhan pressed a button on the table. Soon, Wei Yang walked in. Boss, bring them to Ansha and Huang Hai. Okay. Wan and Lian were about to leave when they heard a voice. Brother Zhan, I'm here. Zheng Nuo appeared in front of everyone. Zheng Nuo didn't hear Li Zhan's reply. He was used to it anyway. He looked around and there were quite a lot of people. Yo, the crybaby is here too. Then his eyes landed on Wan, his eyes shining. Zheng Nuo did not expect to be so surprised today. He could even see the existence of the goddess here. Goddess, why are you here? Wan, who are you calling a crybaby? Lian was angry. Then, she saw Zheng Nuo staring at Jiang Xuan in a lecherous manner. She stopped Zheng Nuo's gaze. What are you looking at? You're a good-for-nothing. Yo, you're a good-for-nothing now? That's right. I'll be a big star in the future. I'll earn a lot of money and earn my own living. You're still gnawing on your old age. You're 5 years older than me, and you're still gnawing on your old age. You have no shame. You should earn some money first. How can you earn money with that temper of yours? Brother Bijan has paid quite a lot. A dog's mouth can't spit out ivory. Wan, let's go. Ah, so you're called Wan. Your name is really nice. but this name sounds so familiar. Zheng Nuo smacked his lips. We're leaving. Wu Yang nodded at Zheng Nuo and then led Shi Wan and Li Yin downstairs. Zheng Nuo quickly caught up. Wait for me. Ever since Zheng Nuo was politely chased out of the office by Li Zhan, he naturally thought of many ways to ask for Jiang Shuan's name. However, those higher-ups had an expression of not knowing. He was too embarrassed to ask those lower-ups, so he could not find out anything. After that, there was a young model who wanted to marry into a rich family. She took a pregnancy test sheet from God knows where and came to him saying that she was pregnant with his son. She even shamelessly complained to his father. Fortunately, there was video evidence. This kind of thing was not his. He would not want to become a father and marry her. Although the matter came to an end without any danger, his father was also mad at him. He could only hide abroad to avoid the limelight. After all this, it had only been a few months. That was why he only knew the name of the goddess today. The goddess was really beautiful. She was like a fairy. One more look and his heart would melt a little. Look at this pair of black and white phoenix eyes. They were white and pink. Her skin was so beautiful that it could be broken with a blow. Zheng Nuo stared at Shi Wan, his eyes almost glued to her. It was a pity that even though he was as passionate as fire, he did not receive a glance from the goddess, even if she rolled her eyes at him. Woo woo woo. Shi Wan was too cold and aloof. Li Yin really looked down on her cousin. When she was young, she pulled her braids, cut her skirt, and pinched her face. When she grew up, she just idled around. With a little money in her face, she flirted with girls every day. She was so reckless that she often angered her uncle to the hospital. It was really too bad. Therefore, seeing that Zheng Nuo had sprouted again, Li Yin was angry. Aren't you already a father? Why are you still staring at beautiful women like you've never seen a woman before? Zheng Nuo, D***M*, what are you talking about? That young model has nothing to do with me. You haven't been with her before. How can she blame you? TSK, a fly doesn't bite a seamless egg. Zheng Nuo's heart was bleeding. This annoying cousin, her mouth is so annoying. I was drunk, okay? I didn't do it. I was wronged. Forget it. I won't say anything to a crazy girl like you who has been chasing after people for more than 10 years and has yet to catch up with the kid. Li Yin instantly felt like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. What are you talking about? Wu Yang quickly tried to smooth things over. Aya, we're here. TCH. The two siblings said in unison. Wu Yang knocked on the door of an office. When the door opened, it was opened by a very dull-looking young man with eyes. When he saw Wu Yang walk over, his dull face immediately broke into a smile. Secretary Wu, what an honor to have you here. Isn't Sha around? Sister is out on an assignment with Sister Li Luo today. Wu Yang frowned. When will she be back? The bespectacled man looked at the watch on his wrist. About 2 to 3 hours. Is there anything urgent? Wu Yang turned to the side. The bespectacled man naturally saw the two beauties and a handsome man. The handsome man looked so familiar. He seemed to be the boss's cousin looking at the two beauties. Both of them were very beautiful. There was no doubt that they were the newly signed artistes. Look at these conditions. They were so good. If they didn't become famous, they would be letting down those two faces, and if you remember correctly, this batch of newly signed artistes were still in the trainee period, but they were brought out in advance to look for Sister A. With this ability and this face, they were definitely on fire. Was he going to give them all a group? The bespectacled man seemed to see a sky full of dollar. Dollar, the giddy-eyed man hurriedly said, I'm going to give Sister a call. After saying that, he sprinted inside. Before long, he came out again and very politely welcomed them into the office. Wu Yang said, No, we still have to go to Brother Hai's place. The bespectacled man was stunned. Aren't they all giving them to us? He still had to give them to Brother Hai what? It was as if he had seen a sky full of bonuses fly halfway. The bespectacled man indicated that the difference was too big for one person to handle. No, 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 no. Then the man with the eyes watched Wu Yang lead the two beauties to the opposite office. Originally smile into a flower face and become dull. Wu Yang knocked on Brother Hai's office door and it opened. It was a cute little girl, about 25 or 26 years old. She had a round body, a round face, and round eyes. She saw Wu Yang leading two beauties and a handsome man, eyes bright. Brother Hai Hai, distinguished guests come. From the other side, a deep and steady voice sounded. What are you talking about? Calm down. Wu Yang. Not long after, a burly man who was 1.8 meters tall was dragged down by the round girl and appeared in front of everyone. Secretary Wu. His eyes were sharp and his voice was neither high nor low, but his words were clear, as if there was an aura of authority contained within. Is there a newcomer for me to lead? Wu Yang nodded. Don't you know that I'm not bringing any newcomers? Boss's orders. With just these words, that person only looked at Shiwan again. She's a good seedling, but I have a lot of people on my hands, so I'm afraid I won't be able to take care of her. Why aren't you looking at me? Li Yin saw that he only looked at Jiang Shiwan. Although she had already chosen sister, she was still unhappy to be ignored by others. HMPH, was she really that inferior to Jiang Shiwan? Huang Hai said, You're not the boss's sister. I believe you've already chosen in Sha. Li Yin heard that he didn't dislike her for being inferior to Jiang Shiwan, so she nodded and snorted. Brother Hai's eyesight is really good. Although she had never met the company's top managers, she had heard many rumors. For example, Sister was the fairest and fairest, the blue sky was the most amiable, and Huang Hai was the most arrogant and difficult to get along with. Therefore, when she said that she would choose a manager, she didn't hesitate to push Jiang Shiwan to Huang Hai. Huang Hai looked at Jiang Shiwan again. She's soft and weak. My subordinates really don't have this type, so it's not easy to lead her. Moreover, for rookies, if a movie can't become popular, I don't want to lead them either. In this day and age, there were too few artists who could become popular with a movie. It was really troublesome. Actors and actresses, how could they not have acting skills based on their faces? What was Boss thinking? He actually asked him to lead a newcomer, and it was even a superficial vase. God knows he hated people who didn't have acting skills the most. Look at the artists under him. Which one of them wasn't a real actor? Other people rushed to ask Shiwan to lead, but this person's tone was filled with disdain. He looked at Shiwan like she was picking vegetables in a market. She was obviously a good person, but she still picked flowers. The round-faced girl saw that her head was talking nonsense and was afraid that she would anger Jiang Shiwan and drive her away. Brother Hai, this is Jiang Shiwan. The Jiang Shiwan that she whispered in his ear every day. During this period of time, she had carefully inquired about it. This time, there were quite a number of good seedlings from the trainees, and Jiang Shiwan was the number one among them. 1. No. What did 1 mean, no? 1 meant that this fellow would definitely become very popular. 1 had to know that among the few A-list artists that the company trained every year, most of them were produced by the people they focused on nurturing. Brother Hai was too arrogant. The artists he had on hand were all the pillars of the company. All of them were very popular, so he relied on them to sit firmly at the head of the company's manager. In addition, he had a lot of connections and resources on hand. Many of the A-list artists from other companies were also willing to work for Brother Hai, so Brother Hai's limelight grew. However, these people were not as young as the newcomers. 1 had to know that the average age of the artists under Brother Hai was already 30 years old. This was not a good sign in the youth-oriented entertainment industry. Oh, Huang Hai was still lazy. Then, he said to Wu Yang, I'll accept the newcomers. Zheng Nuo was furious. Initially, he was already unhappy that his goddess was being picked on by this person. In the end, he still put on a reluctant look. He ridiculed his goddess too much. He couldn't take it anymore. What kind of attitude is this? Wu Yang, tell cousin that I'll be 11 Wan's manager. Wu Yang, ancestor number 2, are you joking? Shiwan, what the hell? Li Yin, what a psychopath. Round face, F*CK, no rookie beauty mine. Huang Hai, I can't wait. Huang Hai's wish made the already awkward atmosphere even more intense, thus completely igniting another explosive barrel. Zheng Nuo, don't think that just because you have some status in Heavenly Shadow, you look down on the people that I like. Let me tell you, just because you look down on the people that I like, it means that you look down on me. There isn't anyone in the capital who hasn't given me face. Due to his anger, Zheng Nuo's fair face was flushed red. Huang Hai only looked at Zheng Nuo contemptuously and lightly said one word, "Oh." To be honest, with Huang Hai's current status and connections in the circle, it was not impossible for him to leave Tianying and start his own family. However, because of Li Zhan's kindness, he stayed in Tianying for several years. In these few years, as his status rose, no one in Tianying dared to give him a hard time. Zheng Nuo was the first. Zheng Nuo usually did not interfere with him. The two of them naturally did not have a good chat. However, they did not expect to be unhappy the first time they met. The reason was because of vase. Looking at this vase again, the eyebrows were eyebrows, the eyes were eyes, elegant and refined, not like a person in the secular world, but the truth was, well, no one who wanted to work in the entertainment industry would be able to get out of the mud unscathed, thinking that this master was behind this vase. No wonder boss pointed this newcomer to him. But this master wasn't willing, and was willing to take over. That was the best. The round face was anxious, and he stamped his feet. Brother Hai, I've said it a few times, this is Jiang Xuan, Jiang Xuan. Among the new recruits, signed this time, the one with the best talent. Oh, just because they have the same name and surname doesn't mean they can be equally popular, Huang Hai said. Moreover, this name was the same as Jiang Xuan's. She would probably be spatted to death by some of Jiang Xuan's fans as soon as she debuted. Moreover, young Master Zheng, who has more connections and resources than me, is willing to be her manager to take care of her. It's really the best. 3 water tides, female, 111. Xuan was neither servile nor overbearing. Since Senior Huang Hai doesn't want to take care of me, then I won't force you. Zheng Nuo stared at Huang Hai and thought that his goddess had been hit. His heart ached terribly. Goddess, don't worry. With me here, I won't let you suffer. If there's really no acting, I'll throw in the money myself and let you be the female lead. Wu Yang saw that Huang Hai had made up his mind, so he looked at Zheng Nuo, who was grimacing in pain. He face-bombed and called Li Zhan's office. Wu Yang explained the situation. Li Zhan thought for a long time. She's not fit to be a manager for now. Find an assistant to follow her and let Zheng Nuo come up. Wu Yang understood what he meant. Then he relayed the content to Jiang Xuan. Jiang Xuan nodded to show that she understood. Li Yin, who was at the side, was a little disappointed. Jiang Xuan was not Huang Hai's manager. Forget it, as long as she was Sister A. The next day, Xuan was called to an office. In the office, a bespectacled woman in her mid-30s was sitting in front of her. Next to her was a shy girl. You're Jiang Xuan? She looked at Xuan and nodded. Obviously, she was satisfied with Xuan's external conditions. Yes, I'm Lisa, the company's artist debut coordinator. You can call me Sisterly. Hello, Sisterly. Lisa nodded. From today onwards, you're one of Sky Shadow's officially debuted artists. Because the boss didn't arrange a manager for you, he only assigned you an assistant for now. When you need it, he'll add more. Xuan nodded. After all, she had debuted once, so she knew about the early stages of her debuting. This is Yimin, your assistant. Lisa pointed at the shy girl. She just graduated this year, but she has already interned for half a year. She knows most things. If you don't know anything, look for her. And before you have a manager, if she doesn't know anything, look for me. I have already told her about this. Xuan nodded. Then Lisa took out a piece of A4 paper she nagged at her boss. For now, your schedule is like this. The audition arrangement for the 3 movie roles. The third and second female lead of Li Family's Orphan and Spring and Autumn. The female lead of The Records of the Geisha of the Tang Dynasty. And the second female lead of a TV series, Waiting for Flowers to Bloom. Li Family's Orphan is directed by Feng Hubao, but over the years, his works have become more and more commercialized. Most of them are works that are hyped for money. The quality and reputation of his works have declined year by year, but if you really get the role, you can start with his works. As for Spring and Autumn, it's the transformation of the Hong Kong comedy director, Huang Santian. However, this is a male drama. It's hard for women to stand out. However, if you're chosen by him, it would be good to have the title of a yellow girl. Everyone knows that yellow girls are all beautiful women. Lisa drank a mouthful of water and looked at Jiang Xiuan, who was looking at the A4 paper in her hand seriously. A faint smile appeared on her face as she continued, as for Records of the Geisha of the Tang Dynasty. It is an adaptation of an online novel. This novel is very famous and has a wide range of IP addresses. However, the adaptation of the novel is also easy to be criticized by people. The characters in the movie will be criticized by the fans of the original novel. Unless you have the ability to act the characters well, you will be covered in blood. It will really take some effort to clear your name after that. Oh, there's another flaw in this movie. The director is a newcomer director called Gu Yi. He is not very famous. Although the outside world does not know his name, we cannot look down on him. He is the genius director of B-film. The short film he directed previously won the Best Foreign Language Short Film at the Cannes Film Festival. Xiuan nodded. Lisa continued, however, this film is the female lead. If she's really chosen, her starting point for debut will be quite high. Because this novel is very popular, as long as she plays the role of the female lead, regardless of whether she's praised or tarnished, the topic of conversation will increase. As long as it's close to the point, the third string will become the second string. Therefore, there are still many competitors for this role. Our company alone has sent 3 artistes to audition, and you're the only newcomer. As for this drama, Waiting for Flowers to Bloom, it was co-produced by Sky Shadow and Idol Court. A few days ago, the female lead auditioned. Our company's Gu Na was defeated by Idol Court's Lu Xia, so the second female lead belongs to our company. If you go to the audition, we will act for you. However, if you were to debut from TV drama, your starting point would be too low. It would be a pity for your talent. Lisa finished speaking in one breath, drank some water, and took a few scripts from the side. These are the scripts. Take them back and take a look at the online discussion about the role selection. It's quite lively. You can also search online and do your homework. I heard from Teacher Tan that your acting talent is the best she has ever seen. Since Teacher Tan has said so, and with our Heavenly Shadows fame and status, I believe that you will be able to get 1 or 2 roles. So you decide on your own starting point. Xiuan took the script and nodded. Lisa smiled and said, the company has placed a lot of hope on you. Work hard.